Hello, everyone. This is Kev on a motherfucking Monday. How y'all doing today? And already got 8 likes, so 12 actually. So as you walk in, go ahead and hit that like button. This is your first time here. Go ahead and hit that sub button as well. Subscribe rather, and yeah, just got to get in that Monday algorithm now. So yeah, I gave up Friday nights. Like I said, been saying all weekend. I'm just gonna start coming on Mondays from now on. And I think it's a good night to go on. Uh, won't be up too late, but hopefully I'm able to give you guys a show where I continue to give my points of view on how we see things as a culture and as a society. So tonight's topic is it body shaming? Is it European standards? Which I really think that when you bring those two words together, it's just a horrible straw man argument. The European standards, or is it honesty? Uh, and just to talk from the point of view of a black man this evening, because people often try to speak for us from our point of views and telling everyone what black men are thinking, what black men like, what black men, who black men want, basically. Yeah. And when people are trying to be petty and spiteful, they always point to the direction of the overweight white woman, the fat Becky, so to speak. Um, but really, a lot of where we come from comes from what we see within our own community. And it's funny to me how when these people make these assessments, they never ask black man. They never ask. They always tell everyone that this is what they think, this is what they believe, this is what I feel like everyone should hear about you guys. So let's do a little bit of setting the record straight. Although I don't think we can say enough accurate things to change the minds of fools. So body shaming, European standards, or honesty. Yeah, body shaming wasn't really a thing with myself growing up. If somebody looked a certain way, we just said what it was. I mean, it could be you could chalk it up to being younger and being more foolish, but at the same time, I mean, it was brutal honesty all the way. I mean, having three siblings, we told each other some of the worst, most insensitive shit that is ever known to the ears of man. But see, here's the thing: if it had some truth to it, it wasn't too much that we could say. I mean, today people use clever words like body shaming. You're body shaming me. Okay, if you're 6'4" and you're 500 pounds, there might be an issue. Just saying. I mean, I don't believe body shaming exists in the framing of how people put it. Like, basically, I'm okay. By definition, if I were to say that a woman was unattractive because she's fat, then that would be body shaming her, as opposed to a preference of, I like women that are in shape, that know how to take care of themselves, such as the one I'm married to. She exercises on a regular basis. But, everybody's definitions of everything is all over the place. I personally think that people use the body shaming thing as an excuse to not do anything about their current state or condition. question: do I believe? Let me see. Can you body shame a black man? Would anyone care? Basically, I mean, in the current state of affairs, I mean, of course not. It doesn't matter what you say to a black man. You can say anything. You can't say the obvious stuff in a professional setting, but you can say just about anything about a black man who is out of shape. Hell, you can say anything about a black man who is short. Man in general about short. I don't know. I guess it all depends on how you carry it. You know, not every man can be a big, can be a fat dude with swagger. I guess you could call it that. But it's a range and a variety of things that you can. It's a variety of things that you can tell a black man that wouldn't even ever be in the way of body shaming. A lot of the times, and I will tell you this growing up between me and my brothers and between me and my friends, if we talked you know, about the other shape, it was only to serve to improve upon ourselves. Hey man, you get a little chubby, man. The hell, do them like that. And what we're really trying to say is, you can do a few more push-ups. You can lay off the little snack food. It's not meant to destroy your world. It was not gonna ever say, oh, since you look like that, you ain't gonna never be able to hook up with nobody. You stinky, you smelly, and you fat. We would never say it in a way that was meant to destroy. We always said it in a way that was meant to be improved upon. A lot of people take it as such. If you say, hey, you know what? Maybe you need to walk a couple more feet per day, take a couple steps, maybe consider laying off the snack food a little bit. People go straight to the little, oh my God, you're trying to insult me. You're trying to body shame me. Most people use that body shaming narrative just to cover up the fact of maybe they feel that way about themselves, or maybe trying to come up with all kinds of excuses as to why they haven't matched up with someone, instead of looking at the common denominator that even some in shape, so quote unquote pretty people have to go through. It's your attitude. If you act like a arrogant grumpy bitch throughout the way you carry yourself in your day-to-day operations, you're probably going to get arrogant grumpy bitch results. And you can be of an average weight, you can be in shape, or you can be overweight, glutinous, fat, whatever you want to call it. Now let's look at a stark reality. The person that is in shape, especially if it's a woman, an attractive woman to say the least, you're probably going to be able to get away with a little bit more. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why I guess that's why you have places such as the Manosphere, so dudes won't get caught. We give the advice so dudes won't get caught slipping. Because I'm always been an advocate of, you don't allow yourself to get treated a certain way, even if she looks good. You know, Try to have some decency and some self respect. You know, it's just like the body shaming can work as a negative. Being pretty, being a good looking person can work toward a negative as well. But life isn't fair. Like I said, prettier, more in shape people are probably, well, women. I'll say women. More prettier, more in shape women are probably going to get away with a lot more than an obese uh, woman with a bad attitude. I'll put it that way. But the message in any of that is probably serves you better to be in some kind of shape or to carry yourself as such. Because if you're out of shape or you have a body type that isn't, I would say on the scale of, and believe me, beauty is an eye of the beholder. If you are I would say short or, and I'm not trying to be smug about, short people. I'm an average height guy. I'm not 6 feet. I tell people I'm 5'11" all day. Is base when I say 5'11", basically that means 5'10" and 3/4 to people. But I mean, I didn't quite make 6, but it's it just I guess you could try being a short person and ask a short person what they go through. A short man, I would say. But what I was trying to say before that was, if you're a short person, if you're a person that doesn't have one of the desirable archetype body types, then you're probably going to have an outstanding personality. Yeah, you probably gonna have to you're gonna have to be the biggest comedian. You're gonna have to be the person that walks in the room and light it the fuck up. You're gonna have to be that person. Cause if you big, if you short, or if you look like Mooka in the face and you got a horrible attitude, then you probably 9 times out of 10, every place you walk in, somebody gonna roast you. Somebody's gonna flame you. I'm saying if you earn it, people do earn these type of things. It's not like, okay, dude can barely fit through the door, and then people just gonna joke on him just cause. What if he barely could fit through the door, and then he look around and say, "What you looking at? Fuck all you people." Then he deserves to get roasted. See, there's a difference. I mean, he probably tried to turn around and say, "Yeah, y'all saying this because I'm fat," something like that. But anyway, people, self pride, shit like that. Um, yeah. So I really try to. I'm very observant of how people speak when they use words like body shaming. When they use words like that, or words like redefine beauty. I ain't redefining shit. I like what I like. At the end of the day, I think people just really a lot of that is of a subjective nature. So people just like what they like. Excuse me for a moment. I can't tell the next man or I can't tell the next woman what looks good to them, which is amazing how I get into some of these social media conversations with females that tell me that black men think this, black men think that, black men want this to look good, black men want that to look good. And I'm sitting up there like I am literally a black man telling you that is BS. All black men who date white women, they don't date fat white women. I mean, I don't know what that's like. I don't date white women. I'm married to a black woman, just for clarity. All black men who date light skinned women don't hate themselves. And let's get to the second part of this. All black men aren't pushing for black women to have this I don't know, this bullshit European standard of beauty. What the fuck is a European standard of beauty? What is that? Why is that even being used? European. Okay, so from what I observed, the European standard of beauty is basically we supposedly black men want black women to look closer to what a white woman looks like, and they really picked the really stupid shit to try to make this point. Like I heard one person, this it was like a male feminist was acting like if we wanted black women to exercise or we required them to exercise or something like that, then we wanted them to adhere to this European standard of beauty, shaming us for questioning you like why you would wear a blonde weave or some shit like that, but then turn around and talk about brothers having a European standard of beauty. What the fuck is a European standard of beauty? Are we to assume that there are not black women who reside in Europe, many of which are African descent? Just like we can't assume that white people don't stay in Africa. What the fuck is that? What is that to throw at any brother? Oh, you just want black women to go under this European standard of beauty. And I do mostly hear this like I said from females who act like they can't stand what brothers when brothers are brutally honest or black men are brutally honest. They act like they can't stand it. I hear it most from the male feminist simps. You want black women to you want black women to have this European standard of beauty. You want them to wear straight hair. You want it's always we want them to do something. When they say over and over again that they ain't gonna listen to us. They don't respect us. And then turn around and say, why are they talking about looks? They tell us what we like. They tell us what supposedly what black men like. And then they get mad at black men because we're talking about looks. And then they come up with this garbage ass European standard of beauty shit. What does that even mean? I mean, can someone help me out? Can someone help me out in the chat? See Rogish the Build Monger down there, Nikayla Collins, Petway Boy, Josh Johnson. Got 24 in here right now. I just is insane. I just don't understand what this going on with this European standard of beauty. It's like the first women that I've seen up close and personal in my life are black women. I mean, next after that, I was watching all the black television shows like Good Times. Shit, I wasn't looking at Florida like that. I mean, and I actually knew a couple of guys that thought Florida had it going on. It's not impossible. But I was always looking at Thelma. I was like, damn, Thelma. She was Walona. Shoot, so I had always seen examples of black women, strong, beautiful. Yeah, when I first got to school, and I went to a private Catholic school for the first 8 years. We thought white folks was weird. I mean, we already had it. We already had it in our minds. I mean, eventually they were taken out of the school because like that. So for some reason, that tension was just there. But we weren't like trying to chase them around, trying to fill them or anything like that. We were anything but that. We did that with the black girls. Shoot, my first ever crush was a black girl, first grade. she she was a little taller than me. I didn't let that discourage me. The point is, what I'm trying to make is like most, I would say, 90, mid 90% to high 90%. We always saw what black beauty was. We were always enamored by black beauty. I mean, I don't. Some of y'all have claimed to see different. I don't get this European beauty standard bullshit. I don't get it. There are some celebrities that have dated and married white women. Y'all love to throw those examples up. But that doesn't speak for the general populace. You know how many people you have to be on scale with as far as their relationship dynamic to try to quantify some dumb shit like that? Most brothers, I'm sorry, growing up have seen black beauty. Most brothers, a lot of brothers, like I said, we're enamored and we're nervous when approached by a sister that we had a crush on. Smelling good, looking good, like it was something else. It's nothing like it. So when we want that beauty maintained for black women, and some of these old feminists out here act like that they don't want to do this for the so-called quote, and then they've been listening to some of these other bitches in this YouTube space. The quote unquote, you guys are, we don't want to do anything for you. You guys are defeated and conquered. Dumb, man. Shit. Just dumb shit, man. Is this whole like brothers, when you hear that shit, when you hear something about a European standard of beauty, don't let them do that. I mean, if you like white women, hey, because that's what they're talking about. For what I believe, when they say European standard of beauty, the person that pushes that shit, I actually believe thinks that white women are beautiful, that their beauty is superior. They're the ones that think that when they try to throw this in brothers' faces. Shoot, we be wanting soul sisters. I mean, it's more. I mean, I'm saying for 2021, it's more and more of a unicorn. Pam Grier, Foxy Brown looking women. Shoot, natural hair, ebony skin, very beautiful, just smooth, pleasant in their femininity. You know, the melanated beauty standard. That's what most brothers want to push. But it's always them bitter ones that don't want to work toward it, that want to be lazy, that don't think that us brothers are worth that shit, that always pushes this shit like, oh, they don't like this, they don't like that, they don't want to rise. Those are people, those are women that don't want to rise to the occasion. They don't want the melanated standard of beauty because they feel like they can't do it. That ain't our fucking fault. Sorry. Brothers do realize if we want things to improve for ourselves as far as our looks, there are certain steps we have to take. We have to watch what we take in our bodies. We have to exercise a little bit. We have to groom ourselves. And, I grew up believing that women were a lot better at keeping themselves than men were. Shoot, it's not a weird thing to wonder where all of that is going. It's not. It's not a weird thing at all. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And by the way, stop calling brothers gay. Stop doing that bullshit. Some of you that do that, y'all got friends that see one up close just about every other day, but then want to come to us straight brothers about that shit. Just because we talk about stuff like this, we can talk about stuff like this. I mean, I'm on man code. I ain't gonna tell you everything the brothers talk about when it pertains to women. Shoot. Well, let me put it to you like this. Some of y'all have been that hoe. It's like, yeah, man, she sucked me good. Yeah, some of y'all were that in those conversations. So I ain't gonna go into too much in depth. I mean, and females talk a lot worse anyway. It ain't no question about that. Y'all think y'all so slick. Females are nastier than men. Yeah, I mean, like this is where brothers get so confused sometimes. They give this little Jesus complex to females, like they're so good and pure and innocent. No, they are nasty. Their minds are triple X rated. Say I'm lying. That's why you got this single mom rate. So okay, I had to throw that one in. Anyway, body shaming, European standard, or honesty. Let's get to my favorite part: honesty. Why do y'all want people to lie to you? Why do you want people to lie to you about how you look? Women to be walking out downstairs wearing a fucking potato. How does it look, honey? What am I supposed to say? Oh, it look good. No, no. Go put on some clothes. Want to dress like a fucking potato? Shit. I can't allow myself to have much filter in certain situations. I am allowed, because I want the same courtesy. If I'm wearing something that ain't exactly cool, which I'm not probably not gonna give a fuck at that point, but if my breath stink, if I'm somehow smelling bad, if I need a haircut, buddy, you need a haircut, motherfucker. If you tell me that stuff, I'll consider you more of a friend as a person that didn't. We have to stop being so sensitive sometimes. People be like, how dare you tell me that I need a shower? Honesty. Honesty is the best policy. Imagine people lying to you for a long, long time, and then someone finally tells you the truth, and then you got to go back and think about all the lies people told you. Motherfuckers was lying to me because then all this other stuff started in your brain. Were they laughing the whole time they was lying? Shit, hey, you. I mean, shoot, positions that we put people in inadvertently by lying. This is where men screw up sometimes. We lie to ourselves about what we want, and then we get it, and we try to force ourselves to want it. Say if we wanted a certain type of female. I mean, body wise and everything. Then we get with her. I don't know, maybe 6 months later, and I don't know, 12 variety packs of chips and some burgers later, she let some of herself go. Brothers, we can't lie to ourselves. Gotta like, you gotta take time. Being honest with yourself. Is this what you want for real? Like, do you want them fine as fuck? I mean, we look at these guys. We look at these guys that have these women. They fine as fuck. They fine as fuck. They fine. And we look at them like you can either look at them one or two ways. You gotta look at that guy like he's the luckiest guy in the world. You put that guy on a pedestal. What did he do to get such beauty? Or you can look at it this way. Had a homeboy look at me, dude with a fine girl. He said, "Look, you show me a fine bitch, I'll show you a dude that's tired of fucking her." And all that body shaming and all those beauty standards that you look for in this women, you got to be honest with yourself. But at the end of the day, I expect women to act like this. You gotta like what you see. You gotta like what you see, and and hopefully, by luck of the draw, the brain inside of there ain't too screwed up either. So anyway, oh look, it is perfect timing podcast. Roger's and Bill Munger. Line is their band-aid Ollie preferred over a highly needed sling. LOL. I don't know, man. I just feel like, oh, here we go. She'd we hear feelings. You got to tell people the truth. Tell them. Also, like for people who like, I don't know, they like to frequent Dunkin' Donuts, and then they might get tired if they have to chase around the kid for a second. I mean, if you are proud of who you are, don't let me tell you that you should not be proud of who you are. Period. I mean, if you are a big person, if you are a skinny person, if you feel like can't nobody shame you, that can't nobody tell you that you don't look good. Some people out here, they have less than desirable body type or the face type. They'll probably try to fight you if you don't tell if you tell them they don't look good. If don't let me don't let Kev in any way, shape, or form ruin that for you. Don't let me do it. If you have a list of favorite desserts, I ain't got nothing against you. I ain't got nothing against you. The only thing that I will ever say is try to consider your health. At least that. At least try to consider your health. Otherwise, if you feel good about what you look at in the mirror, what you wake up with every day, if you feel good about that, then you if you like it, I love it. Anyway, let me drop this link. On a Monday, Kev, on a Monday. It's like, Kev, you should call this Manosphere Mondays. It's like, yeah, just like I said, like I was saying last night about the Manosphere, salute to 5.0. What I was saying is, last night, I don't mind defending the space. I actually like defending the space, even if it does put me in somewhat of an underdog position. I don't know. I'm just kind of with the shits like that, and I know what it's like for a black man collective to be attacked and our reputations to be sullied. I know what that's like. So I have a capacity to do that, even if, like I said, the manosphere has issues. Um, yeah, I will do what I can to speak upon more positive things for it. So that was last night's broadcast. I was trying to speak on that kind of thing. But anyway, we got 31 watching, and for those 31, I have these words to say: Long live the habitual line steppers. Long live. Yep. Tonight's topic: body shaming, European standards, or honesty. What we as black men see with our eyes. Yeah, you can't tell me what I think is supposed to be beautiful or what I've never done as a black man is tell another black man. I can only give my opinion. We can debate on it. Like, you're always gonna run into fellas like, fellas like, man, that girl look good, little motherfucker. Then, there's probably you're probably not gonna think so. Like, yeah, she alright. And then he'll look at you like, man, you crazy. Probably have a little debate like that, but I would never outright just like, you know, dude been dating this girl, and then I just be like, because I always look at guys a little funny when they say things like, man, oh man, what you see in that girl, man? Shoot, based on her looks. Now, what you see in her based on her attitude and how she carries herself, yeah, that you can probably get away more so with that. Petway boy. Yeah, all right, man. Appreciate you coming by. And I leave the broadcast up so you can always watch it a little later on. So yeah, I know some of y'all got jobs. Yeah, I kind of control my schedule. So hey, but and that's a cool thing. It's not the greatest at times. Sometimes you let this shit spoil you. Yeah, but let's look at some things. Let's look at some things here. All right. I bet like when y'all saw this broadcast, that a couple of you thought I was gonna spend time talking about Lizzo all night. No, I'm not gonna talk about Lizzo all night. Just gonna talk about a couple of her. Okay, Nikayla, you're not gonna cut. Okay, watch this. Hold on one second. Nikayla hit the link. It was Mr. Imp. Yeah, what up, Mr. Imp?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. Hold on one second. Hey, what up, Nikayla? Hello, Nikayla. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
What's going on? What do you have to add to the topic?
You lame ass motherfucker. You bitch ass.
Okay, all right.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, man. Crazy. This is crazy. The craziness, man. Just
That was that the same chick that was trying to get a dude to bang her on live?
I don't know, man. People are just amazing. But anyway, man. What do you think of the subject matter? Um, about the whole body. In fact, let me ask you a question. What is
Sure.
what is your understanding of the European standard of beauty?
I really don't have a question or an answer for that, I should say, because I've never dealt with white women.
Okay, all right. Well, bam.
I've always been with black chicks. I've never dealt with white women. And I got one homeboy right now who's actually in a relationship with a white chick, and he calls her his snow bunny. I'm like, dude, you delusional as fuck.
Calls it his snow bunny. Well, that's usually what they call them or whatever. But that does have like a kind of a racist undertone, racial undertone, so to speak.
I'm like, why are you calling him a snow bunny?
Yeah, I remember. I remember back in the day when I was a younger adult. There was this white chick. I guess she was messing with black guys, and she was going around calling herself white chocolate. I said, "You are fucking asking for it. you, you are asking for it." And I mean, she was confronted a couple times on it. So I was like, shit. Shoot. So hey, well, what up, J Bones? What's going on?
Hey, brother Kev, what's going on, bro?
Oh, I said that too much. Shoot. Subject matter tonight is body shaming, European standards, or honesty.
I think I'll choose honesty.
You'll choose honesty.
There is no such thing as body shaming, and there's no such thing as European standards of beauty. So I think we'll just stick to honesty.
Okay. All right, man. I would say that honesty is the best policy.
Honesty
Uh,
is the best policy. That's true.
okay. Why would anyone use body shaming? What was your? I mean, I gave my opinion on why people would use body shaming. I think that people use body shaming because, in a lot of instances, people are just too lazy to do the work. So what they want to do is change people's minds on, or change people's perspective on, what we should view as what's in shape, what's attractive to, us, trying to alter that perception. So
Well, as far as the body shaming tactic, you know, that's like a new thing if you think about it, because there's no such thing as body shaming. It doesn't even make any sense at all. If you're overweight, you should work hard into losing the weight because, well, you're not healthy and you're basically one foot, inside the casket. So that body shaming nonsense doesn't even make sense. So we should just get that out the way quickly.
yeah, cause no, I mean, if I'm just saying, if you fat, you fat.
You
I
fat,
mean,
yeah. If you fat,
I
you
mean,
fat. It doesn't make any sense. You should not make excuses for being fat because being fat can lead you to death. Yeah, that's pretty much just it. Yeah, your organs are getting squeezed in, and that's not good news.
yeah, and then it's more of a strain on your heart because not only are you not exercising, your body is forced to carry around all that extra stuff,
Hmm.
and then in that extra congestion, so that heart is working harder than it should.
True. That's just nonsense. It's just laziness. That's what it is. It's not body shaming. It's just laziness.
But I think a lot of the problem also lies in the fact that they're also trying to change. They're basically just trying to change your perception on what you should believe as attractive.
Yeah.
If I don't think it's attractive, I don't think there's anything that the next person can do to change my mind.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own. There's nothing wrong with, there's some guys that like big girls. Ain't nothing wrong with you having that sort of preference,
Yeah,
but you're not
yeah,
gonna change. Yeah, you're not gonna change the whole world into saying that everybody should like big women. I don't know if
yeah,
you've noticed, but I don't know if you noticed, but if you if you go to a certain location, there's a lot of girls there. Ain't none of the big girls getting chosen.
mm,
That's pretty much it.
I mean, I like, or in the case of what I was saying earlier, you have to have I would say, a contagious, radioactive personality. You have to be able to walk in a room, light everything up, change people with your positivity, lower the guard, because with a discrepancy, well, I wouldn't say it's kind of subjective. You can only you have to be the one to be able to find that person attractive.
True.
Yeah, but for the discrepancy part of it, it would not help if you had a shitty attitude along with it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of people try to convince you that it's because I'm fat, or it's because I'm dark skinned, or it's because I'm short, or it's always because of this, it's always because of that. It is like some kind of incel excuse. It's not because of the kind of person I am. It's not because of my personality. It's not because of the fact that I piss people off on a regular basis. It's not because I have a horrible attitude. People always try to steer you away from that.
I never knew. I never actually noticed this thing until I moved here from Africa. Um, it's especially because you hit it right there on the nail with the dark skin comment. And the dark skin comment is the most important thing because it's actually funny. When I was growing up back home in Africa, when all the dark skinned women were getting chosen, and all the light skinned women were actually getting left behind. But it's not about dark skin and light skin. It's about your behavior. If you're dark skinned and you're an amazing woman and you have a great attitude, you're gonna get chosen before that light skinned woman. That's just a fact.
Yeah, and then like I in the whole the colorism dark that's another one I believe is stupid because it's like this. Would you call a light skin like for these women that say this that push this? Would they call a light skinned guy that loves dark skinned women a colorist? Would they call him that? What if he just preferred just dark skinned women? Is he still a colorist?
Yeah,
They
it's
probably would say no.
they probably would say no. Exactly, exactly.
See Coffee Nino down there. Say say you can't tell that to mofos with huge asses because they let that go to their heads. I think big men and women do that a lot after getting someone who gives them attention. The worst thing you can do ever to me is ask me who is a thin dude, do you work out? And you are 400 pounds. It's crazy to ask me that. Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that too. Let's talk about that kind of attitude. And let's talk about reality. Okay, if you are a fat guy and can you really okay like let's say out not even so much fat just out of shape like say if let's stop using fat if you were a frail guy if you were a frail skinny guy skin and bones and you were telling other like you preferred I would say a woman that was in shape a woman that was like had thick legs. Do you have a right to your preferences? And the reality of it is, yes, yes, you do. You can prefer it. You can't tell anyone what they can't prefer. If you were a fat chick and you wanted a muscular guy, you can't tell anyone that either. You can't tell that person that they can't prefer that or they can't have that standard for a look. You might look a little stupid. You're trying to push that, and you're not an example yourself. But the reality is, yes, you don't have to tolerate that person either, but you can't stop a person from being who they want to be.
I mean, Kev, these women are just confused at this point, brother. It's just too much confusion going on. I mean, let me give you an example. It was like probably 2 or 3 years back. I went out with this chick. Um, I was in New York and I went out with this chick, and we were at the movie theater. So we were standing in front of the line, and I asked her, where does she want to sit? And I asked her twice. So by the third time, I kind of turned around, and I have to look down at her because she's really short. She's looking up at me, and she goes, "Wait, you're not 6'2"?" And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You're not 6'2". And I'm like, "Okay." She was like, "I thought you were 6'2". Why did you well, first of all, you're 5'2" and I'm 6 feet. So, what there's just the confusion is just on an all-time level. I don't know what I don't know what's going on these days, Kev. I really don't get it anymore. Let just call in the aliens and let's just get this party started.
Yeah, things called the dumbing down of our culture. But it's just what it is. Is uh, a lot of women expect better from the men than they do from themselves. That's why I get like that's why I would say a lot of them don't stay in shape after they get married. You know, they feel like they don't have to really do nearly as much. I mean, I was lucky though. I was lucky. Like I said, my wife works out on a regular basis, keeps herself in shape. But I know a lot of men that were not so lucky.
Oh, I can
But
tell you, I can tell you we're in a bad spot. I can definitely tell you right now that we're in a really bad spot because me myself being in my 20s, I'll tell you right now, Kev, this dating game out here is real. it's I would have a better chance going to Iraq.
mm, okay, so say you said that body shaming doesn't exist. Say that body shaming does exist. To what extent? I would say to the extent of we hold ourselves accountable as a culture. Like men and women should be able to hold each other accountable. Just because we want the standards in our own culture, in our own community to increase. Um, there are cultures in on this planet that do have a sort of a healthy standard. That don't allow their society to become obese and unhealthy, and and this is one thing. People they, if you want to live a more fulfilling life, then that's what you want to do. You would think you would want to stay in shape. Why do people let themselves go? I would say. I mean, can we? Is it age? Is it just you know? I guess the more comfortable you get in life, the more, like I guess the more money you make, the more access you have to better meals. I mean, what is it? What is it that stops us from you know maintaining ourselves?
I can answer that question for you if you wouldn't mind if I cut in.
Go ahead. You're on the panel.
Well, it's a little bit of laziness because I know I was always telling myself I'm not gonna let myself get fat, and I'm in my 30s now, and I got a little bit of a waist. I don't look like a pregnant woman, but I'm just saying I could get that gut down. But for some guys, they just let themselves go, or it could be a genetic factor. Sometimes it could be just flat out bad genetics.
I don't know about the genetic excuse. I mean, is I mean as far as like shapes and builds. But I don't know if being overweight is something that you could really just blame genetics on. You might be subject to a family's dietary habits, and then you will become overweight. But, well, how old are you, Mister M?
31.
31. You still got time, man. Yo,
Yeah,
yeah, your
yeah.
metabolism ain't slowed down to that point yet. Like
Ex-
you
But
go ahead.
my bad, Kev. But here's the thing about it. If it's about, I don't think it's about the genetics neither. Because here's the thing: if you kind of notice it, a lot of the brothers are really fit. A lot of black men take very serious, you know, pride into maintaining fitness. But then on the other hand, when we look at our sisters, 85 to 90% of them are overweight and just actually plainly obese. So I don't know about the whole. I mean, and we're all coming from the same place, aren't we? Their genetics are our genetics. So how come they're at almost 90% obese, and the majority of the brothers we are pretty fit? So I don't know about the whole genetics thing.
Yeah, it's the foods that we take into our body. It's food addiction due to stress and depression, and a lot of it is laziness as well. Um, like we are a race that is we are under constant duress. Something else is going on every other day. Uh, Sometimes people have this mechanism that and food helps them deal with that. And I'm not saying that I really don't like you know minimizing black women and treating them like children that can't handle shit. I really don't like that, but I do understand a lot of us in our culture and in our race, we deal with that kind of thing, and it's not visited upon enough, from because every other community, they can diagnose just about anything and everything. And when we associate that with their communities, we take it seriously, and it's never visited upon as something like, oh, you just that's bogus, that's bull crap, or something like that. But that's why there's a lot of healthier communities, because they take all of that into consideration. There's a lot of things that we never apply to blacks that might actually help blacks in diagnosis certain conditions, and not dismissing them as you're just trying to body shame, because there's a lot more people in the ground because we did not take these things under consideration. And I just think that, and I just really believe that, if we just took it more seriously, our bodies and our health, then you wouldn't have all these bullshit crybaby ass narratives going around. Oh, you're just trying to body shame me. Oh, you're just trying to go with a European standard of beauty. I mean, no, you want to do this because you want a better quality of life. This is why. I was someone who was on the verge of being like obese, and then I looked at myself and I looked at the scale and I was like, okay, if I continue down this path, I'm going to be a couch potato. We're gonna be looking like a fucking potato. And I just decided that I'm just going to eat better. I'm going to exercise. And because of that, yes, I did eat better. I lost weight. And I felt better, and it just led to having a better quality of life. I mean, you have more fun being in shape than you would out of shape. But I understand that doesn't apply to all. It really depends on the personality, because like I said, you got some people who are not exactly in shape that glow up everything. So yeah, that's just my perspective on it. Yeah. It's a Kareem, aka Two Screet. Who that? Kareem Henry said, no excuse, but women have it harder when it comes to weight. We know these things, so we have to work on our health, mental and physical health. Yeah, like when we discuss these things, we don't always have to be smug. We don't always have to be demoralizing to the next person. Uh, even if the wording is a bit harsh, we have to look at it from that aspect of, health. Got to keep that. You got to keep that in your head. Health. This is about your physical health, and this is about your mental health. It's about your emotional health. Because if, say, like you could actually gain a gut from being stressed, just from being stressed. What do they call it? Cortisol. Cortisol levels. Yeah. But anyway, just let me ask you guys a question, and as you too, Mr. M. Have you ever been caught up in a conversation where people, especially some of these women, were trying to tell you what was beautiful to black men, and you're sitting up there like, hey, I'm a black man, you're full of it. No, this is what we consider beautiful. How many conversations and how many back and forths you got caught up in like that were just like that?
Now, if I'm
I
being
would say
completely honest with you, go ahead, finish.
yes. No, go
Now,
ahead.
what I was about to say, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, since I've never had like a girlfriend long term like that, I've had zero to that many conversations on this subject matter. So you're asking the wrong guy on that one.
Well, I can definitely answer that for you, Kev.
Okay.
Well, I think the brother before he had said that if I may be correct, he said that he's never dated but black women, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not the same standard for us as as myself as brothers being from Africa or being from a different culture. We're not how do you say it? We're not restricted from dating outside of our culture. Well, unfortunately, here it's like the American brothers. Once you guys date anything but black women, there's some sort of a firestorm. It's like you got to call 911 or you got to call in a bomb squad or something like that. But I've dated all types of different girls. I mean, my girlfriend's actually Jewish. Um, but I've dated sisters before. Um, that whole European standard of beauty situation, it's complete buffoonery. It doesn't even make any sense at all. Because the thing about it is that if you look at the majority of us as black men, if you're around a sister and you're dating a sister, you want her to look more like a sister. I could I would probably be much more insulted if she started wearing blonde wigs. Like, you look crazy. You don't make any sense. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you go back to watch, pictures of some of the ladies like Pam Grier, or you watch, some of the old school sisters. They are incredibly magnificent. So
Oh yeah, like Thelma from Good Times. Like Thelma was like fine, and then she was like hourglass shaped fine at a lot of those times. Like, yeah, it was like I was saying earlier. Like the first women that we see in our lives as black men, we see the women in our family, and then we see what's represented on television. You know, and I was just in that situation where I was watching all the black television shows, and I used to, and and whether people want to use it or not, those are my first examples of black beauty. You know what I'm saying? Seeing beautiful women. I mean, the first representation of beauty to me was a black woman. So to me, that European standard of beauty bull is always going to be crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't want a sister to look anything like anyone else. I want her to look like a sister. I I want her and I want her to be able to appreciate her own beauty.
yeah,
You know?
that's true. That's 100% true, because here's the thing about it. When it comes to us as black men, um, we have an abundance. We are the only culture. We're lucky because you look at the black culture, especially for us as black men, we're very much lucky because what do we have? We have what the Dr. Umar Johnson observation would be. We have black women who are in abundance of color. We got caramel, we got chocolate, we got red bone, yellow bone, we got all types of different colored bones. We got caramel swirl, we got some that look like, Sanaa Lathan, we got some that look like Beyonce, we got Carrie Hilson, we got, the dark skinned sisters like what's the other sister's name from Destiny's Child? I forget her name. The dark skinned one.
So Kelly
Forget.
Rowland.
Kelly Rowland, yeah, Kelly Rowland. So we're lucky. We got an abundance. We got all types of different women that we can actually choose out of. So this whole European standard of beauty is, you know what I think, Kev. You know what I think they get that from? I think they get that from Beyonce, because she looks European herself, and they worship her.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She's all like, yeah, like just about every time she gets on stage, her hair is blonde, or I mean, it's a sandy looking color. It's not all the way like just bright yellowish, but yeah. Uh, Let me see. Cortez Smith, Kev. What if we said black women hold us to the top European financial standard? That is kind of true to me, but I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of tit for tat. I'm not, but I mean, great point there, actually. Mm. Yeah. So could we convince could we do enough to convince the sisters that yeah, we do not embrace a European beauty standard? I don't think we can per se. Maybe you guys feel different because it we're not the ones that bring this up. How many men you know is that you actually knew that said that man, these sisters, man, they need to they need to adhere to this European beauty standard. I mean, you know, you need to go to Europe and see what's beautiful, and then you need to come back to America and show everybody what's up.
It's straight up buffoonery because I used to live in Europe actually. I mean, I went from when I was a kid, I was growing up. I grew up in Africa, but then I went from Ghana to Switzerland, and then from Switzerland to Germany. There is no European beauty standards. Europeans are not that attractive. Yeah, I've been around.
Wait. How y'all saying ain't no European beauty standards when the chicks walk around with blonde hair all on their heads? Like you said, Kev, you mentioned who was that you mentioned? I think you mentioned Beyonce or whatever, right? But also like Mary J. Blige. She been rocking a blonde wig for about 30 years.
She's been doing that a long time, a real long time. You're right about that.
Right. So it's not an aspect of it being a European beauty standard. It's more along the line of the fact that they don't acknowledge doing that as a European beauty standard. It's like that's something different. You know what I'm saying? Like they can define that as something totally different than how we define the shit. And that's lunacy.
Well, you know.
Well, it's not just lunacy, Kevin. If you think about it, it's like the sisters are constantly in competition with white women. They're constantly competing with white women, even though white women aren't even thinking about them. So that competition with white women, they take that anger and they bring it on to us as brothers and say, guess what? You know, we're going to blame you.
Wait a minute. Competing for who?
Who knows? To tell the truth,
no, wait a minute.
At this point,
be a fucking target that you know what I'm saying these bitches competing for. What the fuck? Wait a minute. Competing for who? Who they trying to outcompete the white bitch for?
I don't. Who knows at this point? To tell you the truth, Rogish, who knows at this point? Who knows what black women? Who knows why black women do what they do? You can't even figure it out at this point.
I know why they put the blonde hair in their head and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just some slave conditioning right there. But they won't acknowledge that shit. They won't acknowledge it. They don't like acknowledge it. They're like, oh, I just wanted to try something different. This is my thing. This is my thing. All right, look. Can pilgrim chicks show up tomorrow all with actual, froze in their head and rocking them saying we just doing something different and y'all not get mad? Fuck no.
Hell no.
Y'all gonna be trying to fight them and shit. Bitch, cultural appropriation or whatever, right? So you can walk around with this bitch hair on your head, but she can't walk around with yours on her head. That's the same crickets I get from them.
Yeah, there's something else I want to add to that. Most women don't even know, black women don't even know this yet. Like the cornrow style, that was not started by black folks. That was by the Nordic, the goddamn Vikings started that shit.
You believe that shit?
I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just saying.
No.
So
they got what's his name? They got a what's his name? They got they got those old texts with those Nordic Vikings rocking it, but they damn sure didn't start it. Because they just came.
The Olmecs got cornrows in their head.
The Olmecs got exactly, yeah, down there in Aztec. You go to Peru. That's why sometimes a lot of people be surprised when I travel a lot. You go to places like Peru and Chile, you'd be surprised though. They know how to do cornrows better than sisters know how to do it up here.
Yeah, that's a culture from the so-called archaic days.
Archaic, exactly. Yeah,
that's how old we is. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know what I'm saying, like this whole European beauty standard. It's like you said. It's like, look, Europeans aren't like beautiful like that to where they take a nigga breath away. I'd have seen some badass white bitches take nigga breath away, but I'm talking like on the average, a bad bitch period gonna take everybody breath away. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Hold on, Roger. So we on a different topic now. So
What's
give me your top 5 baddest white bitches.
Shit, nigga. First one, Topanga.
From Saved by the Bell.
No, nigga. Boy Meets World or something like that.
Oh, my bad. I'm a little bit on the young side, so I probably don't remember that.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you the history of snow bunnies.
Okay. All right. Let me shut my mouth and sit back and learn something.
You got Topanga, that was a bad motherfucker.
Okay.
Yo, who was the chick on Blossom, Kev? Then we tell who was the chick on Blossom?
Oh, it's about 6.
6 was alright. She was kind of plain, but she was alright though. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all saying. Let me grab my laptop because y'all saying some stuff I never heard.
Denise Richards in her prime.
Okay,
that was a bad motherfucker.
Denise Richards, she caught my eye. This was back when I was living in Africa. She was a Bond girl.
Oh yeah, she was.
She was a Bond girl. She was Pierce Brosnan. She was in what do you call it? Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, so you got 2 more. You got 2 more, Rogish.
Let me see. 2 more. I'm trying to see as bad as that where you can actually tell it was natural on them. I'm gonna make a suggestion. So you tell me how you feel.
Hey,
maybe Coco.
No.
Maybe Ice-T's wife, Coco.
Yeah. Hey, hold on.
That body's fake. That body's too fake. Stop playing, Rogish. That body's fake.
I just found out Kim Kardashian is a white bitch. So you know what I'm saying? She up there. I thought maybe they was, I don't know, something else, but she white. So it's like, all right, as a white bitch, go, okay, you know.
Nah, Rogish, you got 2 more. We still waiting on you, bro.
I don't look at white bitches like that, cuz. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? I ain't got no fucking black feather.
Hey, for real though. Hey, for real. Hold on.
I ain't got no long list of white hoes.
Hey, hold on one second. Archer ain't shit. You guys are letting that shit slide. This isn't about white women actually being beautiful. This is about black women finding an excuse to be sloppy and lazy. And someone's late to the party. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I already said all of that. So we on the same page, bro. All right, Black Warrior Spirit, Thelma from Good Times. Yes, I also said that already too. But what up, Black Warrior Spirit? Yeah, Thelma from Good Times. She had some good moments, and then she had some great moments.
Fine as fuck.
Shit. Man, shoot, I saw her at a festival down here one time, and they was like, "Oh, this Thelma from Good Times," blah blah blah, and she was beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Thelma from Good Times.
Latest thing.
I gotta go do my Googles real quick. Thelma from Good Times.
Yeah, bro.
Her name is Bernadette Stanis.
Yeah, Stanis.
Yeah.
Shit. I always had a crush on what's that? Teresa Randall.
Oh, Teresa Randall.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Yeah, she played Martin Lawrence's wife on Bad Boys.
Oh yeah. She's fine. She is fine. Yeah.
Teresa Randall. Well, see, this is the thing, though. The only thing why they think that cats is focused on European beauty, or whatever, that's their excuse. But it's like, all right, we'll dive into your natural beauty. And then when they have cats that will tell them about how their natural beauty, resonates with us, they don't believe it, or it's like it has no value or nothing until a pilgrim. You know what I'm saying? Like you see a pilgrim with a badass natural sister. And it's like, some cornball ass motherfuckers like, baby, what the fuck you doing with him?
Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This is something I've been hearing a lot lately. Cause I actually kind of was exchanging with this sister on Facebook. And she was like, this white man told me I was beautiful one time, and she was like, oh yeah, I date white men now, blah blah blah. I date a white man. And so I told her, how many brothers have told you you were beautiful and you called them thirsty?
Uh.
And then, like, I mean, but it takes one white man to actually just, and I mean, don't get me wrong, date who you want to date. Date who you want to date. I ain't gonna be jealous if sisters decide they want to just outright date white men. That's what you want to do anyway. Well, who am I? But all of a sudden, it's like one tells you you're beautiful, and they appreciate the beauty in you. That's what they literally say. They appreciate the beauty in us.
They take white men's compliments a lot more stronger than they take ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is sad because, you know, we're supposed to be.
Yeah, but that's par for the course considering the history and everything. Look, it ain't the fact that they do that. It's the fact that when it's presented to them that they doing that, they don't take a look. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of the whole. I say that's all part of the whole slave trauma. It's a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the slave trauma. You can't blame motherfucking folk. But if you show them that, all right, yeah, this is what's being done, and this is disbalanced and shit, they don't accept that. They're like, so that show you that's really an aspect of the paradigm that they wish they want to move in. You know what I'm saying? They black women want to live a white woman life.
Okay, and shout out to the Roger Report Live. Long live the habitual line steppers.
Long live.
If my eyes were like are still good, he did a show today called Yo Mama Black.
Yeah.
I was like,
your mama black, so you should want a black one.
Yeah, so that guy's clever. And I mean,
yeah, it was a good show too. It was a real good show.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm shoot. I mean, you ain't gotta tell me that. That's my boy Roger.
So in the aspect of like body shaming, what context are we speaking towards?
Okay, the context of
is it the overweightness? Because that seems like that's all it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't ever say, "Oh, they body shaming us for long titties or something." Nah, it's always some overweight shit. It's just that's the only wrong thing that can happen with a motherfucking body. You know what I'm saying? That they do to themselves. You know?
All right, let me see if I can come up with a definition. Body shaming. This is Google's definition. The action or practice of humiliating someone by making mocking or critical comments about their body shape or size.
Oh, okay, so it is a size thing. Okay. I will shit. Stop being big than the motherfucker for no reason. Shit. I think somebody was talking about what was that? What they say, genetics and shit. Look, in genetic, at the most you're gonna be big. At the most you're gonna be big. You're not gonna be motherfucking obese in your naturality. At the most you're gonna be big. That's it. But you can still be big than the motherfucker and healthy than the motherfucker.
Yeah, you can be like Sammo Hung.
You know what I mean? Go.
No, that was
Han right there. Yeah.
No, that was Bolo Young.
Bolo,
yeah, that's Bolo. I'm talking about Sammo Hung. Yeah, off Enter the Dragon. Sammo Hung, you know, that was a fat guy. It's why they call me Fat Dragon. He said something like, "I'm fat. I'm not out of shape." Like, you know, he was right. That motherfucker was agile than a motherfucker.
That was a big motherfucker. He wasn't fat. He was big. Look, you can't move like that when you fat. When you big, look. Remember when Shaq first got in the league, and that motherfucker used to, you know what I'm saying, play one coast to coast from time to time. 7 foot fucking tall, you know what I'm saying, with a little bit of dribble skills, coast to coast, and yam that motherfucker. Yeah, you can only do that in your bigness. You be a fat motherfucker moving like that.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Gil Gami, what's going on?
Salut, greetings to all.
Peace.
So when it comes to I think what I would like to bring, it goes back to what Jay Bones addressed earlier when they said that black women are competing with white women, and also what Roger said that it comes from the slavery and colonization side effect. And then Rogish asked Jay, who are they competing with and for what? And I said it is for white men's attention.
Yeah.
If you observe women, they tend to gravitate to seek the characteristics that would enable them to gravitate towards the men who have the highest status and power. And since in the Western world, white men are the ones who have the highest status and power, they would try to gravitate toward what white women like, and towards what white men like. And white men like white women, especially
right,
the blonde type.
There's nothing wrong with that. They can go after their fucking pilgrim. Why the fuck they gotta put us down as they do it? Ain't no, because the thing is, if that's their preference, that's their preference, and you can't be mad at them at their preference and shit. But it's like, where the fuck? Why is the misandry present as you do so? Just go after your fucking pilgrim, love the motherfucker, do whatever you do, and move the fuck on, bitch.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Black
dick policing.
Yeah, it's called Dick. Hold on for a second. Brother Gil Gami, what part of Africa are you from?
Congo, Central Africa.
Okay. Well, and guess what? I'm from Ghana. As if you've noticed, actually, your side of the culture, because a lot of the francophone black women, they date French white men, but when they date French white men, they're not talking bad about the brothers in Congo. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when you look at our side, when you look at our brothers here, our African American brothers, the sisters, all they do is basically talk bad about them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The sisters talk bad about African American men all the time. That's what Rogish is saying. If you want to date these white boys, go ahead and date the pilgrims. But why do you always got to slander them? That's the problem.
That's the only issue. It ain't that they going after them. Shit, it's like, nah, love who you love. Shit, whatever. Of course, she picking. You know what I'm saying, the lesser. It is what it is. You see them looks in their eyes when they with the pilgrims and they see you. Bitch start biting the corner of that lip a little bit. Yeah, bitch, you got regrets. But it's all good. Love who you love, but don't put us down. Shit. Why you gotta be anti us? That's what everybody's issue is. They quick to be anti-black men.
Anti-black men.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Just to make themselves feel good about it. Because it's like deep down inside, like if you think about it, Brother Gil Gami, you see our brothers here, they're basically the highest standard of black male on planet Earth. Swag, grace, smarts, the way they walk, the way they talk. So they don't just have access to American women, they have access to all women. You understand what I'm saying? Like just look at it. If you travel a lot, I travel outside a lot. I've been to probably 30, 40, 50 different countries. Anytime a brother walks in and he's an American brother, all eyes on him. You understand what I'm saying? But this thing with slandering our brothers here, it's completely horrible.
Yeah, but I think it's because it's also a factor of proximity. For example, the rest of the world will see the Edo's black men as the most the standard of what is awesome while being black. But the black women are living in the United States and they see the differential in social hierarchy firsthand. So what they do, because they how would you say, they're closer to the centers of powers directly, while the other people are looking from far away. And since the black men here in the United States are more persecuted, and since the black women are associated with the class of black men in the United States, and since black women cannot access white men, they become resentful. They become resentful towards black men because they're stuck in a social hierarchy that puts them near the bottom, and they cannot access the top white men here in the white man's land. But when you compare to our sisters on the continent, they're already surrounded by black men. They are in their own homeland. They're at home. And they're closer to their culture. They have not been isolated in a strange land. So they can always go back to their country, and they always can get more support toward their own tradition. But since the black community,
I agree with you. I agree with you,
I heard that's
Giyogami.
being eroded though.
Yeah, I agree with you, Giyogami. But here's the thing about it. It also comes back to the common sense of respect. The sisters here, they don't respect the sacrifice of the African American brothers. They don't. I mean, their history is very deep. Black Panthers, I mean, they have some real heavy hitters. I mean, you can point to what's the guy named Nelson Mandela. You can point to Kwame Nkrumah, but for every Nelson Mandela, the brothers here, they got. I mean, have you ever been around Minister Farrakhan? He will make you want to start a war. I remember when I was a kid. Let me tell you a story, Rogish. I remember when I was a kid and I was living in Ghana. Minister Farrakhan came to talk to us one time. We were at a school. This is when I was in elementary school. This is when I still lived back home in Ghana. The way this man was talking to us, it was like he put a certain level of spirit in us. It was like he was trying to tell us that we can just own the world. Now these are we are young black men living in Africa. I mean, my ribs are damn near touching each other. I'm hungry as hell. But this man is talking to me and making me feel like I'm damn near God. So it's about respect, Giyogami. The sisters here, they just don't respect the brothers. They don't respect their sacrifice. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, these brothers have been through a lot. They've been through a lot. I mean, you go back, and that's the one thing with our culture. A lot of Africans don't study African American history. I was glad to be around some of the brothers in the Nation of Islam when I was growing up. So they gave me the game really quickly. You know, we got, for every Nelson Mandela or Kwame Nkrumah that we got, they got Farrakhan, they got Malcolm, they got Garvey, they got Booker T. Washington, they got Dr. Francis Crest, they got Shahzad Ali, they got Dr. John Henry Clark, they got Dr. Khalid Muhammad, they got living legends. They still, you know, Dr. Ben Yakanu, they got, you know, Huey P. It just keeps on going. You understand what I'm saying?
You got to take into consideration, OJ, that look, the programming was a whole lot more intense than most of the earlier master teachers thought was going to be required for breaking through. You know what I mean? That their drone programming started way back before, you know what I'm saying? We think it did. Like BGS improved that, Dr. Gigi improved that. We're talking, you know what I'm saying, clearly the 1830s. You know what I'm saying? So that's a long ass time. And so in that regard, you got to think about it. It really has nothing to do with us because they utilitize us in the same manner that, you know what I'm saying, the Pilgrims attempt to. So it really has nothing to do with us. It's more about them, because even if we were able to be that representative, you know, that world representative top player, whatever that you say that, you know, all women go for, whatever, they wouldn't go to us because it's coming from us, you know. So they would have to take our direction. They would have to take our guidance, our leadership. They don't want that. They don't want that. People say black women ain't submissive. Bullshit. Just not to us, but their mother, they're hella fucking submissive.
They are submissive, but they're submissive to everybody else but black men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's there. We see it. It's just that, you know what I'm saying, it seemed that no matter how much integrity or how well the brother has developed his character in himself, none of those are values to them. Again, they're utilitizing us. So we have to assume at some point that they're locked in that paradigm of interaction with us, utilitizing straight from the jump, as early as what they say, grade 1. They learn it. Crickets. That nigga cleared the room, cuz. All right, then.
That's it. Shoot, sometimes you get lost in the profoundness.
Yeah, brother, that was pretty deep.
Yeah.
So in the whole aspect of this whole body shaming or anything dealing with their identity, it's even more bullshit when you think about the whole aspect that they say we have perspectives of European beauty standards that we want to project on them. And it's like it's like, all right, well, I ain't never told no chick with blonde hair on her head that she glowing. Ever.
Yeah.
Now I just see some sisters look good in the blonde shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, my only thing is that ain't your hair, bitch. It ain't that it don't look good on you. You know what I'm saying? Because they artistic enough to make the shit look good and everything. Fine in the motherfucker. It is what it is. But bitch, that ain't your hair.
It's not.
That's my only thing. It ain't yours. It ain't that it don't look good. Yeah, it look good, but it ain't yours. So how the fuck you cool wearing another bitch's hair on your head? Who you is then?
I'm gonna tell you something, Rogish.
It's just a hairstyle. It ain't got nothing to do with identity. Fuck out of here.
I'm gonna tell you something, Rogish, because it's always good for us to bring things from a different point of view. Is the brother Giyogami still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
There's also another. Yeah.
Here's something very interesting, Giyogami. There is no reason for the sisters to say that our brothers here, they have some sort of European beauty standards. Here's the reason why. I don't know about the Congo, but I'm going to tell you something very interesting. When I was living in Ghana during the 90s, some of the brothers from the HBCUs, they used to come down to Ghana and marry the women there. I don't know if you've noticed African women, but they ain't wearing no blonde weaves.
I noticed that. Actually, the kind of stuff I only noticed it in the West, for example. Sometimes I see, for example, I'm living currently in Canada, but I see that kind of nonsense more often, especially if the women are coming from the Caribbean or from Africa directly. It's when they come in the West that they tend to adopt the kind of overweaving, if you can say. I see this with the sisters in France, in Canada, sometimes in the UK. And then I'm looking, and I noticed something. Wherever the brothers are from the Caribbean, from the continent, the States or Europe, they always say the same thing. They slag the weaves. They always have negative comments to say about it. And then the women say something like, "Oh no, it's our style," or something like that. But everybody I encountered always said like that. I perceive it as some sort of demon invocation. It stinks. It's useless. It makes you look ridiculous. That's what I have to say. But still, I would still have to go back to the point also about the social, as brother name, let's say the social dominance hierarchy. If you look back at in antiquity, when Egypt was powerful, when the Ethiopians were powerful, at that period of time, if you observe the physical representation of other cultures in Asia and Europe, you will see that their women would try to adopt the African beauty standards because the black men in that era were the dominant ones. So that's why I said there's a serious aspect of social dominance that is manifest, because women always tend to go towards power, because women are like magnetic beings. They absorb power by associating with power. Men have to create their own power, but women gain power by how much people are attracted towards them. And if, for example, in antiquity, black men were more dominant, they would have to get. That's what they also manifested. For example, the white men of Europe, of the Asiatic women, they tend to use hairstyle that was actually more common to hairstyle from African sisters, because they try to emulate beauty standards that the dominant class, the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Ethiopians, manifested the preference.
Not to stop you, but Giyogami, that dominance is still there.
It's still there.
It's just not in the overt form of rulership, but that dominance is still there.
I think what's his name said that before. Kev has said that in the beginning of the show. Kev explained that for some strange reason, well, only Lord knows what's going on with these sisters now, Rogish. But Kev said something very interesting. A lot of the sisters keep on repeating that the brothers here are dominated or they've been conquered. You understand what I'm saying? But the funny thing, that's why I was saying it, Giyogami, it comes back to respect. A lot of the sisters here, they just don't respect the sacrifice our African American brothers. They never. I mean, for God's sakes, Gilgami, let me explain something to you.
They don't have to respect the sacrifice of an automaton, because that's what it means when they utilize us. That's what they're doing. They actually dehumanize. What's the word? Dehumanize us. Yeah.
Dehumanize. Roger pointed. Roger said something interesting the other day, because I'm still from the continent, so I'm still learning every day about my African American brothers and sisters here. Roger said something very interesting I never knew. I had no idea that A-Trap Brown was still in prison. I had no idea. Now, that is a level of sacrifice that no human being can ever even live up to.
Right.
The sacrifice from our brothers here is tremendous. Even God couldn't sacrifice this much. So the sisters just don't respect brothers at all. That's pretty much just it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You keep saying respect. There has to be something that comes. Respect is a result.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After a process has taken place.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Rogish, they don't respect the sacrifice. You understand what I'm saying? They don't respect how much the brothers here have risked to basically, pave the way to protect them. Because here's the thing, I'm gonna give you an example, Rogish. Speaking from an African point of view, I can see it. When these white boys came back from Iraq, they come back from Vietnam, they come back from Desert Storm. You got white women from Kansas, Alabama, Mississippi.
Not to stop you, cuz, but it's funny to hear you say African and you talk with a more motherfucking refined American accent.
Yeah. I lived here for. I lived here for a long time. That's why. So people, I mean, back in the day, I did used to sound more like Gilgami, but I know, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But it's like when you see these white boys come back from war, you see these white women be lined up down the street. They be at the airport. They be waiting for these boys to drag them off the plane and take them down there to the street, to the hotel, just to give them some, to show their appreciation. Yeah. But the brothers went to war. When they came back, what did they get? Nothing at all. So there's always been this weird situation where sisters just don't appreciate the sacrifice of the brothers here. It's very strange behavior.
It's not the thing is, it's not that it's weird. The weird part isn't that they don't respect. The weird part is that brothers don't make the next right decision. You know what I'm saying? We start pining for that respect the same way that we do with the pilgrims and shit. You know what I'm saying? Rather than stand on your motherfucking square and shit, it's like, nah, you know what I'm saying? People start kowtowing and getting apologetic and all kind of shit. Trying to get some respect as opposed to being I guess you could say satisfied with the phenomenon of commanding it. You know what I'm saying? The niggas get in request mode and shit. So so think about it. Like me and Perfect Time was talking about it when, like, okay, so you have to, the 1970s, everything was black love, black power, black beautiful, black, right? And at the height of that was when black women, was like, all right, we gonna jet over here with these white bitches. At the height of the motherfucker, at the height of all that black love shit, they weren't doing that in the 60s. You know what I'm saying? But 70s came, that was the culmination of it. And that was the point when they said, all right, let's dip. These white bitches got a good plan going. So you got to ask yourself, were they fighting them the whole time? Or were they just focused on white men or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like we was fighting for black people. Obviously, they were just fighting for themselves. And not all of them, but a large amount of them, apparently. Now that's scary to think about, but you know what I'm saying? What's the next move to make on that one? You're not going to get apologetic. You're not going to get, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to be, given the benefit of the doubt with certain things. If certain factors are a lot more sensitive than others, then them shits need to be weighed and judged, you know what I'm saying, in different fashions. You know what I'm saying? Some shit light, some shit got to be harsh.
Man, look, just be honest with the motherfuckers, man. Just
Facts.
it might sting a little bit, but what hurts more, being lied to on a consistent basis, or someone being honest at least once and getting it out the way?
Right.
Oh yeah, but Solon Black, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Kev? And respect to you, sir, and the panel. How y'all doing this evening?
Peace, bro.
Yeah, we're good.
Hey, I just wanted to stop in and give my 2 cents on it. There's quite a bit of hypocrisy when it comes to the weave subject. And the reason why is because I remember in a chat forum somewhere, someone put, it's hypocritical for sisters to run around here in blind weaves talking about white supremacy. That's kind of like having a Klan leader speaking at a rally wearing an Afro wig, you know? It's just a bit of hypocrisy to it. Do I think there'll ever be some sort of awakening? I don't see it coming.
It's an awakening.
This man,
They gonna snap out of that shit.
Something's got to happen, you know. Think about this for a second. Since the 90s, I guess it must have been maybe the early to mid 90s. A lot of brothers walking around here. Remember the style where they had the pants hanging off and have the boxers up, and you know that style is still hanging around, man. And that was the only style. I've seen styles come and go. You know, I'm a Gen Xer, and I've seen styles come and go, but that one seems to stick.
You right, dog. That shit done stayed the course the whole fucking time since it presented itself.
Exactly. So you know, there are certain things in our culture, if you want to call it that I believe that's unfortunately here to stay. I don't know what you guys think about it, but
there's some irreversible degeneracy that has taken place, unfortunately.
Exactly. And I mean, we can have the conversation over and over. I'm pretty sure there's been enough of us black men approach our sisters and tell them, look, just take that thing out your head. You know, it smells, it looks bad, it looks ridiculous. And you have different colors like green and purple and red, and it's not a good look. But that's
the thing. That's the thing. The issue ain't that it's not a good look. The issue is they think anything that they place upon themselves now is a good look.
Exactly.
It seems like there's no discrimination with anything into themselves.
And we've had 50 years of not letting them know, hey, this is a bad look. This is not good.
No, we let them know. They just don't value our word. Look, this is why there's no fucking equity in relationships with black women. There's no fucking equity. Every fresh crisis that occurs, you have to reprove yourself to that bitch, as if the other crises weren't handled.
Right, starting from block one, from square one.
Every time. You can't just say, "Baby, I got it," and she cool with that. No. Being with you forever and done whatever, you know what I'm saying? But every new crisis, you got to reprove yourself like you the fresh sport coat day one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can see that what our friend Mr. Samuels have done by putting all this online, you know, speaking with these women night after night and telling them, he's rattled the hornet's nest by just telling them the truth. Think about what Monique did. All Monique did, she soft-splained to sisters, look, you can't go out in public looking like this. And they came for her. I mean,
look, that's a bad look for them. That is the worst look for black women that they could ever permit it to occur with them. What they did to Monique. That was the worst. I can understand them going at Kevin. You know what I'm saying? Kevin's one of us. I understand that. But Monique is one of them, and
Exactly.
you could tell she prefaced everything with love,
Oh,
everything
yes.
with empathy. There was not hateful intent in none of that. She wasn't on no
Exactly.
celebrity clout. She came to them as a fellow black woman, and they
Right.
said, "Go eat some shit."
Yeah. She soft explained the hell out of that. And as a matter of fact, I don't think
bad.
Jesus himself could have delivered a
Nah.
message so soft and beautiful
Nope.
as she did, and
Nope.
they just eviscerated her. But here's where I come from.
That takes them all down like two points right off the bat.
Right. And this is where I'm coming from. The vector that I'm coming from in all of this is I'm looking at it as a health issue. A lot of our sisters suffer from alopecia, where their hair and all their hair. Okay.
Don't invoke the presence of Rigatron, goddamn.
Now, hey, I know I shouldn't go in here, but I'm coming at it from this point of view, is that a lot of sisters, when it is time to put away the weed, that hopefully one day, like I said, this awakening will happen and they'll all put it up. They won't have hair. They won't look healthy. And just on that point alone, we should try to think about changing this thing, man. I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know if we're going to do it. But when the sisters do decide to put up the weed, there are going to be a lot of bald heads around here, just saying.
Well, you live and you learn, don't you?
I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest. Alopecia.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that is a very realistic condition that affects a lot of young women. And what I would have a tendency to do is approach that one with a bit of sensitivity.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you can't use everything to poke fun at females. Like some females are actually realistically hurt by the fact that they have that condition.
Exactly.
But if you're gonna be a fucking retard and make broadcast after broadcast shitting on brothers because they don't like your weave and your clip-on bang, then that's stupidity right there. I don't expect everyone to like everything about me. I don't. And I mean that's me with the belief that I have said many things to people that were actually professional. So I mean, I know I'm not going to get a perfect record with everyone. So why does anyone else expect it?
Facts.
Yes. Let me get some shout outs in the chat. We got Pass to $40. We got Long Tone Sun, Mahogany Roots, and MJ. Always a pleasure. Sun is Hot Raw. Yeah, man. I mean, I see a lot of people, the people that I always see every week. Y'all riding with me strong. I appreciate that. So, yeah, the subject matter. Yeah, we've done a pretty good job as a panel sticking to the topic. I really appreciate you guys and your outstanding input.
Yeah, feels good. Feels good to stick to the topic. Get on top is so easy, but that's what happens when you start building, man. You know what I'm saying? That barbershop energy kick in, and next thing you know. But so in this, so what's the entirety of the title, Kev?
Body shaming, European standards, or honesty. What black men see with our eyes.
Now, you asked the question earlier if anybody had ever had to have an argument with sisters trying to explain to them what we like. Like they're trying to tell you what you like. And it's like, well, if I tell you, why is it that you don't believe me? And then, that's what I used to think. But then it's like, all right, no, you don't want to believe nothing that I say. You're above critique. You're above critique, me having critique of you anyway. So it doesn't even really matter what I think.
Well, a lot of that is projection. I mean, they think that of themselves. So in order to justify what they believe and think and try to take it out of the area of paranoia, they try to say that's what you believe and what you think.
Yeah, but when we go at them, you know what I'm saying? It's like sisters act like niggas don't holler and shit. And so they think all that a motherfucker's holler process is just game. Like motherfuckers be lying, like just trying to get some pussy, trying to say that they beautiful or something like that. It's like, nah, some of you motherfuckers is beautiful where I tell you beautiful. It be like that, but no, then you're thirsty and shit. You know.
hey, but you know what though? I remember when you said earlier, you were saying that you'll see these dead up natural looking females with pilgrim guys.
Yeah.
Like they what is really a slap in the face for a lot of that, and brothers can kind of feel slighted when they see this, is that they'll get all natural and all blackety black for them motherfuckers. Because for the off chance they're seen as a fetish, they're able to provide that fulfillment. Yeah, I mean, and I've seen this quite a few times. I mean, afro-clad, chocolate-skinned woman with a Chad. And I mean, doing it big. But what we get is we get the weave and the attitude.
You get the smelly weave with the glue on it.
And that's
Bitch, that dandruff is that glue. What the fuck that is in your hair? Look like you got boogers in your motherfucking split, bitch.
Yeah, we get the dying hair. That's what we get.
Well, gentlemen, that's just telling you what you're worth. You know, hey, that's what you're worth.
Wow.
Lord.
But man, that kind of cut.
It did.
I know.
I mean, but we need that kind of brutal honesty, man. For real.
I'm amongst the wounded too, so I feel you.
Look, I done had a talk with my ex-wife where she expressed to me that she was sorry that she couldn't give me the best of her. She realized afterwards that she wasn't trying to do that. And in the regards of them being able to see it, like all after the fact, that yes, he was seeking for the best of me for her sake. You know what I'm saying? On some weak shit. I really don't think that they ever truly trust the men that they're with, the men that they choose. There's never a true 100% trust there, because most brothers got to fight to give their love to their woman. It's like wait a minute. Wait a minute. I understand if I'm delivering some harsh shit, I can understand that's hard to take. But motherfuckers got to fight to get a woman love, cuz.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I think it has much to do with the natural inclination of women to associate love towards them, towards resource and status transference towards them. In other words, it's as if they were saying, if you actually loved me, you would be able to go out there and elevate me towards a certain status. You will be able to go out there and bring me a certain level of resources. But if, for example, as Kev was saying, that they're going with white men and then they go natural, now it is the opinion of the white men. Now, what Jesus said, what the black man was saying was actually true. We prefer you as natural. That's it. Oh, what Jesus says, so now it is true. When the nigga on the side was saying it, that was false. What does a black man know about the proper beauty standards? But if
the proper natural beauty standards of one born to be connected to him, bitches, you motherfucking crazy. I know when you motherfucking glowing. Just listen. Shut the fuck up and listen to me. Better you, upgrade you. What the fuck? You know that's what you want to say to him, bitch. Shut the fuck up and just let me upgrade you. Right. Everything gonna be better in your life. You listen to me for 3 years.
And I don't know. So I think there was another brother once who mentioned that one of the reasons why they go natural with white men is because they need to exercise. And if they have all them weaves, they're gonna sweat in them perms. They're gonna sweat in the weaves, and that's something that no man would actually appreciate. And especially the white men will not accept all the smell that comes off from it, and they won't also accept the black women getting fat while being married to them. In other words, they're gonna change to adapt to what white men would appreciate, but they will not be willing to do it for black men. So it goes back to what Brother Solomon Black was saying. They perceive you as less valuable than what the white men, essentially. In other words, they're willing to do it for white Jesus, but for the ex-slave, that's not worth the trouble of actually working out.
But that exposes a harsh truth, though. It's like, is it our fault as men that they don't respect our word like that? You know?
Nah, it's nah.
It's not. I wouldn't go that.
It can't be our fault because you got the whole what's that shit called? Irreconcilable differences. You know, that fucks up their whole thing because they can still be with good men and choose, you know, irreconcilable different because they ain't happy. And it's like, all right, but you definitely don't know what's going to make you happy. So, you know, so you're just choosing to get rid of some perceived dead weight. All right. So did the relationship mean anything in the fucking beginning, in the whole process of it?
Well, let's look at it like this. Let's take it a little bit further than that. Everything she sees on television, okay, in her personal life, you know, everything from let's say the faculty at school where she's going to get her degree, the doctor in the ER that saves her child's life, and the police that come to pick your ass up when you get out of line, they're all white men. So, of course, these are authority figures that she's seeing operate every day in and out of her life. Where do you think her opinion of you is going to be after all of that?
Beneath her.
Exactly.
Well, okay, so all right, but this is the thing. In that regard, it's not anything being built of our sector of that, it would be the second construction. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like we didn't, you know, that intent wasn't put forth and was fully manifested previously. It's just, you know, people just don't like to attest history for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you build it. They destroy it, set up laws to destroy it. Nobody fight them fucking laws. Yeah. Everybody going along with the status quo of it. So I mean, it's more along the line of to where, like, okay, we could say anti-black, we could say racism or whatever. Really, this shit all seems like it's just against us. Everybody else in the world can come here and flourish and shit, right? But you know what I'm saying, when we do it in an aspect of following all the rules that's supposed to be set for general standard of citizenry, you get all kind of flack, all kind of fight. And nobody want to take that into acknowledgement when it comes time for one to project themselves in a power position to the world. Now, that's the thing. It's a natural dichotomy. It's some seesaw shit. There's no way that this shit can be as it is and us be up. It's seesaw. If they're up, we got to be down. If we're up, they got to be down. But black people don't want to take that route with it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to see y'all do that. We are the world shit for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Well, I could kind of answer that question as well, sir.
We are the world. Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Imp.
Well, as part of the written of the Constitution, until that actually gets amendment, they still think of us as 3/5 of a human. Therefore, where you can see where a lot of black men end up getting shot and killed by the police, even for things they did not do. They could get called, the police could get called on them, and then they could end up getting killed over nothing. I can name a few examples where a few black men actually got shot and killed, even over an incident that involved a female, or an incident that involves the cops. And the reason why it's for that is because we're still considered 3/5 human within the United States under the Constitution until that
Right,
actually
but you
gets
think
amended.
if they switch the numbers, that's going to switch the character and how they interact with us?
I don't know. I'm just saying, that's just a suggestion. I'm not a historian on that sort of thing or a congressman.
I'm just saying. No, this is the science speaking right here. You know what I'm saying? If they switch the numbers from 3/5 to one whole, do you think that will actually reflect on the way that this society interacts with it? You think there will actually be a character shift?
It should, but like I said, I am
really
giving a suggestion. So yes,
that's some hope right
I
there,
say
cuz. God damn. Damn, dog. That's a lot of hope. Shit. All right. That's all right. Damn, I ain't think motherfuckers had that kind of hope no more.
I ain't giving up the fight just yet. I'm trying to listen to Joe Brown. I mean, he talking mad shit, but I don't know. Joe Brown talking mad shit. I hear what you're saying, that we need people to continue to fight, man, but I don't know. Y'all gotta change some rules around, goddammit.
That's all right. Standing on that square.
All right. Shout out to Kareem, aka 2 Screet. Kev dropped the link. People want to join in. Okay, just did it. But thank you for supporting the channel with super chat. Anyway, all right, we got nameless protagonists up here. What's going on? Oos.
Oos.
All right. So, what do you think of the subject matter, sir?
We've talked about this several times before, but I think an important thing we need to remember again, it's why I keep bringing this up, is social dominance order. Social dominance order explains this so well, it's not even funny. And I really wish we'd take more time to inspect that line of understanding. That ultimately, the problems we're experiencing right now as Black men in particular is because we're not our own in-group. We simply aren't. As long as we don this American identity, the standard, the default in-group is and always has been that palm color, followed by whatever tribe of either Germanic or Bretonian they want to take and stand on. Every other group of people, and we'll take the Jim Crow era, they've been able to essentially weave themselves into this, under this identity as being white. And so a lot of us get very confused about how these dynamics play out, because when we see black across the board. And we need to understand that in this idea of there being a 50-50, it doesn't play out truly in reality, because reality doesn't care about equality. It cares about equilibrium. And it's just simply due to the social order, both on the plantation and wherever we find ourselves. Men will be the disproportionate recipients of all things negative as it relates to power, because men have the potential to superimpose sex in multiple wombs. And so long as that remains truth, in other words, as long as the dynamic between human beings and how they reproduce stays the same, we're going to see this play out everywhere we go. It demonstrates itself in every single area of human activity, including but not limited to everything we're talking about right now. And to speak a little bit on something that was...
When you're saying that, it doesn't make sense to be ally-minded then, in an aspect of how a nation progresses.
You can, and here's how that works. Your in-group forms its own outward and inward system of rewards and punishments.
Right.
That's the birth of bureaucracy, and that's why it's actually required. And that's one of the main things our demographic has had zero experience operating under. We operate under a dynamic where orders are either dictated to us or we're doing the dictating. We have not had successful modalities of negotiation unless we have other people doing it on our behalf in general.
Right.
Other cultures have literally hundreds, if not thousands of years doing precisely that. And I will say for us in particular here in the United States, we don't have a policy of that. And as a result, we don't know how to actually what's the word I'm looking for? We don't know how to employ that level of cohesion without dictation. And that is something that greatly hinders us when we get outside of our immediate environment.
So is that a cultural dynamic or a human dynamic?
It's both. It's an overlap to that. And that word we use for that is culture.
Right.
We're supposed to learn these things in the household. But unfortunately, our own environment in these scenarios, our so-called community, which is really nothing more than an aggregate of individuals who live close to each other that look like one another.
Right.
We form our own independent forms of culture, I suppose. It's this individuality. It's encouraged in general by this Wild West mentality that kind of animates the American ideology. But it's done so in a position to where we don't have benefits and punishments. And when we do come across an individual with the ability to do that, it's generally one person going against an entire network of people who know how to do that as well. So we lose out in the long term through attrition, essentially, because we're ever only able to have single individuals get out of the environments that foster us. It's
Right.
just like the plantation runaway dynamic. Some of us get out, and then once we get out, what do? We try to survive. There is no let's exert counter pressure. Let's create something creative, because we run into the cycle that we see every single time where here we are, a member of the out group, attempting to compete with other individuals that are in their own in groups.
And the
unfortunately-
geniuses are funneled out of our spaces into the think tanks of the in group.
Well, correct. But
Yeah.
the individuals that are more applicable to be applied to that is going to be the women. And this is where the pattern really shows up. It's why women are more accepted in a lot of those traditional institutes. When we look at the way things played out, especially after the fall of the Black patriarchy, and I'm going to use the Tulsa era as a marker for that. So, after the 1920s, from that date going forward into the present moment, women have essentially been able to interface with the system far easier than Black men have. And furthermore, the only ones who've been allowed to integrate into that system, they've been let in on a dynamic of their phenotypes or their masculinity. In a lot of instances, the lack thereof.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of that play out right now in the modern era very plainly. But I want people to kind of understand how in the world, and this is kind of just on an intrinsic level, how are women, let me rephrase this. Once a woman loses respect for you, do you think there's anything that she could feasibly do to get that back, or that you could do to feasibly get that back? Because I've yet to see that before.
The cost of recovering her respect, it will be a Pyrrhic victory. The cost of it would be far greater than any benefit associated with it.
So we can say that 400 years of her seeing us in the out group as men, understanding what we understand with social dynamics and social dominance order, and knowing what we understand about how a lot of that from a cultural sense can be passed on even on a subconscious level. There may exist examples or exceptions, but as a rule, this is the origin of that resentment and that contempt many Black men are born with, that they sense straight out the gate from their own mothers, let alone the other women in the community. And is a weight that so many Black men go out of their way to try to be hyper responsible in their lives and in their everyday existence, to try to pay that debt back that they were born into, essentially. And at the end of the day, the irony is, due to this very reason that the contempt even exists, they will never have the authority to actually carry out that responsibility. And it becomes a catch-22. And anytime we have this conversation, it gets taken as status reports flipped and transmutated into a complaint, even though we're inundated in our immediate surroundings with this. And case in point with that, the moment you take a Black man out of that immediate environment and place them in another, the burden of being a man is lighter than the burden of being a Black man. And they're able to succeed and get things done in areas that they otherwise would have been completely crippled under, using
Very
the same,
true.
if not less, effort.
Very true.
Mark Lamar
Very
Mill
true.
is a
It
prime
makes
example of that. So
it
yeah,
makes
you are correct on that.
hold on for a second. It makes sense because here's the thing, Nameless. When me and the brother on the panel, Giyogami, when we're back home in Ghana, I don't have any pressures of being a Black man because I'm just a man when I'm back home in my country. But when I'm in America, I gotta be super nigga. You understand what I'm saying? So it goes back to the idea for the Rogish, what I was saying before. It is about respect. The whole thing is just completely about respect. It's about the idea that, you know, when we're here as Black men in America, we just have to always, kind of like what Kevin said, not only do we have to build the plant, we got to go work at the plant after. We got to set up the electricity. We got to set up the farm around the plant. We got to build the spaceship. Black men got to do things that even God couldn't achieve himself.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. One of the problem with Black men and Black men in the United States is because they live surrounded by their opponents, while the Black women on the continent, they're already at home. They're surrounded by their own kin. They're directly connected to their own culture. While
True.
For the Edos community, they're essentially surrounded by those who are working against their own progression. But actually, I think another component of it is because women, contrary to men, are less likely to participate in an enterprise that would go beyond their own lifespan. Men will be more willing to sacrifice during their own lifetime so that their own great grandchildren will be willing to be prosperous. But women in general will be less likely to say that they are willing to participate in an endeavor in which they would not directly eat in the plate during their own lifetime.
Giyogami, could you say that for and J Bones? Could y'all say that for y'all women back home as well? Do you think, like, in certain circumstances that phenomenon would present itself, that character ethic?
Oh, hold on for a second. Yes. Rogish, explain the question again. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
So he spoke on Giyogami spoke on the whole aspect of Black women not even waiting for, you know what I'm saying, to sacrifice their life in an aspect so that the future can become enriched. And he said he noted that Black men will do that, but Black women won't do that. Now I'm thinking if y'all speaking in an aspect of being regional to the United States, or if you would see that there's, you know, similar character ethic, you know, some probability in your women back home.
Hey,
I can answer Rogish's question with a question.
Before you go, Black Guru, hey, Mr. Imperfection, can you hop down and let Edward Anderson come up, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm about to get off the panel because I got to go to work tomorrow. So got to be there at 7. So I'll see y'all later, panel.
Word, Mr.
Hey, salute.
Good evening. Good evening.
All right, brother.
It's a very simple answer to your question, and you can move it out of the realm of Blackness. Brother, look throughout the world. Who has built this world? Who has built the pyramids that have lasted long after their builders? Who built the skyscrapers that have lasted long after the architects and the people who built? I mean, all things that are built of any enduring nature, well beyond the lifespan of their creators and their builders, are built by men. Virtually everything of any long-standing substantive nature or capacity is built by men. It's not just Black men or white men or Asian men. It's all men. Men build the future. Women give birth to the men who build the future.
Hey, Black Order, let me piggyback on that too, because this talk about Black men building, all that is gaslighting. Don't go for any of that bullshit. If you want a gym, you need a 24-hour fitness. You need a private gym, is built. You need office space and a skyscraper that's air conditioned. It's already built. You need an engineering firm to build more shit. It's already built. What no more? We live in a paradise in America. To say black men need to build something, it's already fucking built. We built the American capitalist economy. So what we're really talking about here is what Silent likes to call these goalpost relocation engineers. That's all this is a form of gaslighting to make it seem like black men haven't done enough to earn the respect of black women. When the reality is that through slavery and cotton picking and building that American capitalist apparatus, which has built this American economic machine, everything is already built. The only thing that we need to do is have healthy 2-parent homes and marriages where we have black families living in communities and then pouring our resources into our children so they can go out in this world and have massive success. But instead of doing that, we want to go every other road. So here we go with this. Let me just finish this last thing. Body shaming, talking about are black men have European body standards? Where do they get this bullshit from? That's just more gaslighting. If black men have European beauty standards, then explain to me why every single rapper and every single rap video that you'll ever see, they got big booty broads in the video. So much so that you could go to any all-white suburban gym and you're going to be seeing white women with no black men around doing glute workouts so they can have an ass like Kim Kardashian. So to talk about black men have European beauty standards, that's gaslighting. The reality is that black men have imposed our beauty standards on European Americans. That's the reality. So any talk other than that is horseshit.
True. I just want to add this real quick. I know I'm jumping ahead, but this is how you know that people are completely full of shit when they say the black men need to build. This is all you got to do. Shut that down. What do black men need to build? All this time, do you hear motherfuckers say that, whether it's women or it's men that are pandering? You never hear them say, what do black men need to build? What do we need to build? So whoever, I don't know if somebody asked that in the panel or whoever, but that's what I would ask. What is it that you need us to build?
And also, more importantly, is to ask the women, what can you build? Okay, if you want me to build an infrastructure, a skyscraper, and civilization, what can you build? Can you build me a family?
Well, I get that, but then that gives them an out because then they turn it into a back or forth. If you don't know, if they can't, because here's the thing, you make the assumption if people are saying, if you're taking people at face value, and you're saying, okay, you're saying that you don't do XYZ because of this thing you're saying, in this case, building. What is it that you are looking for black people? I'm not even looking for an exact answer. I'm just trying to see, has your brain even ever asked that question? Because, and you can tell in how they respond, then you know that they're bullshitting. You know, know that because the truth is Nigerians. Look, I'm not hating on Nigerians. Shout out to them for beating the USA. Because I mean, look, we're gonna win majority of that shit anyway. But a lot of what the Nigerians have right now, Nigeria was built by the Brits. A lot of what the fucking Indians have, what they started with, was built by the Brits during the colonial empire. This idea, a lot of what the Hispanics have, was built by the the Spanish and Portuguese and shit. They're still operating on that infrastructure built. And then when you look at Africa, guess what? Chinese is coming in there and bringing them from the third. I'm not saying they're not doing nothing, but you don't hear their women saying this shit. You don't hear Latin women working in McDonald's, working alongside their men, living in houses, going to these new developments, and they're buying houses as a family and as multiple units. You don't see them talking about, oh, well, I got to work at McDonald's making minimum wage, so fuck this Latin ass motherfucker. You know why? Because they won't allow their women to do that. They'll knock the shit out of them. Even if they even try to do that. Black men, part of it because we ain't trying to go to jail, but we also allow women to say that. And women are so stoked deep in their disrespect. They don't know what else to say. They don't know how to be at this point. And another thing I would say, and I've been saying this, is whenever a black female say some shit like that, just tell them, you know what, you right. You right. The other thing I said is, even if you want to engage in them, if you don't want to engage with them, you know what, you right. Black men don't build. So, and black men are never going to build. So, you know what, you need to go ahead and get you a great white man, Latin man, African. You need to just leave. Go be great in the conversation. Seriously. But like, because in my personal opinion, and this is what I'm going to tell these Z's. Whenever because you see it with this indifference, this colorism on TikTok, these motherfuckers crying now because these Z's are really ignoring these motherfuckers. I'm going to say, whenever these women get mad at you with that, you just tell them, you right, so you go date out. You go be better than me. You date out. You don't even got to date out interracially, date interculturally. There's Caribbeans, Africans, Nigerians are the most educated. Look, they just beat Team USA, so they're clearly coming somewhere. Supposedly they got the large. You go do that, but guess what? You got to deal with the shit that comes along with that. And there's a reason why black women, for the most part, don't like dealing with Africans. There's a reason why black women, for the most part, don't like dealing with Caribbeans, even the ones that don't have them. There's a reason why they don't deal with Hispanics and whites like that. There's a reason black women choose to stay fucking with the very niggas they say ain't shit. And that's a choice they make, not anything we're making them do, because we don't really have power in this country. So anything black women do, they're doing it on their own agency. I'm done.
Yeah, the other cultures.
Oh, Edward, and the reason why they date the way they date. Here's the stone cold facts. Is they want to be single moms. That's what it boils down to.
I don't even if we give it that, I don't even need, because again, I'm not saying you're wrong, but what I like to do is I like to say things in such a way that won't trigger their escape hatch. Oh, you're bashing black women. Everything that I just said, like before that, you can't say I'm bashing black women. I'm taking everything that's said that women buy into, and I'm using that as a way to say make a move. Because you start saying they want to be single moms, which I'm not disagreeing with that. That's that village wife shit.
But you're saying they're going to want to argue then and go back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. And
you're talking about closing the walls on them.
And this is how you will engage with a woman in like real life, or like in a barber shop, because then everybody's got to think, and they can't get on the, oh, well, you're bashing me, you're doing that. You can't do that, because I'm agreeing with you. Black men ain't shit. And as far as that European body standard shit, the truth is black women buy into white beauty standards, I would argue, more than white women do in many ways. They buy into the beauty standard. They just don't like their place in it. So with because nobody's making them wear this hair, that's something they're choosing to do. Now, granted, they could play the corporate America game, but you don't really see black women arguing with corporate America from a social standpoint to change that. Not really. You got a little bit with the cap thing in the Olympics, but that's some new shit. For the most part, they buy into that standard. Number two, ain't nobody telling them they got to wear a blonde weave in corporate America, yet they do it. So black women buy into the standard, because if you understand how women try to create the features that allow them to succeed in a society, you understand the biological reason they do that. It informs the psychosis. But the reality is that's not something that black men are imposing upon them. That beauty standard shit is between them and white men, but they're not going to do that. So again, black women buy into the beauty standard more than more than anybody. I mean, black men are fucking fat bitches. We're considered the garbage men of the community. So how can you say, like, think about it this way. This is how ridiculous this sounds. And then I'll fall back a little bit. Who in their right mind would you say, okay, so we know pretty much white men are at the top of the food chain for the sexual marketplace because of white supremacy. And most people would say black men are right behind them. It depends on what your preferences are. But compared to all the stuff against this, a lot of people would say black men. But even taking away all of that, I don't give a fuck if you're talking to a white racist that hates black men. Who the fuck would say that black men have the highest beauty standards or the second highest? Who would say that black men have higher beauty standards than any other group in the United States? Would a black woman even say that? And even if they talk about with dudes that make a lot of money, okay, if you compare dudes that make six figures to other dudes that make north of six figures, the same income range, I promise you, no matter what income range, millionaire, 150, 250, whatever, black men in that income range will probably have the lowest beauty standards on average. So how can you say we're imposing these beauty standards on you when black men have always prioritized sexual access above anything? We actually have the least. Fact. And by the way, our women actually, I would argue, have higher visual look standards than white women, at least as they apply it to their own men.
Oh,
Now
for
that
sure. And economic.
And that drops once they start dealing interracially, of course. But when it comes to how they apply their own men, black women damn near fetishizes more than white women do.
Well, the reason why that standard drops when it comes to other races of men is because they're trying to get their foot in the door. Of course, that standard is going to drop. But Edward, my question to you is, I was always told that, look, women get fake boobs and fake butt lifts and all that.
Body mutilation at this point.
Right.
Go ahead.
You're right. Right. I heard your video on that, and I absolutely agree with you. But from what I understand is that they do it for one another.
Dysmorphia. That's a lie. That's a lie. You don't do, like, you could play that game with the hair, even though I could call bullshit on that. You don't go to no fucking DR getting silicone injected in your ass, risking your life for another bitch. Because another bitch ain't paying you. So let's cut the bullshit.
They don't fall for any of this gaslighting. White women don't do much of anything for black men. Anytime they go, we do this for black men, that's bullshit.
Well,
it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It's complete bullshit because
it's not for a submissive standpoint. It's from a more like a lick standpoint. So, like, if you say I'm gonna make the investment, if I'm gonna make the investment on these suckers, like for instance, if nobody becomes a stripper because they want to please black men, they become a stripper because that's where the easy money is, and I'm gonna get a lick on these suckers. So when women do that, but at the same time, women ain't paying them either. So it's not they're doing it for men in the sense of we're doing this because we're trying to please you sort of thing. They're doing it for easy money because a lot of these bitches are lazy. Oh, well, I'm my bad. I see the thing with the harsh language. Let me fall back on that. But so my point is, you can play that game with the hair, even though I kind of call BS on that too. But when you start going to the DR, you start like if you look at these surgeries, these are not cheap surgeries that these women are doing, and a lot of them are getting the cheap versions of them, which is why they're getting a mess up. They are doing that because they know the men have the money that can break them off. It ain't women breaking other women off.
Edward, there's one thing you're missing about it in the modern age. It's true they want the attention of men, but they're also fighting for the real estate of the attention from other women. So with respect to, having a great ass or artificial or otherwise, not only draws more attention to men, but it gets me 10,000, it gets this woman 10,000 likes versus this other woman only having 2,000 likes.
Facts.
So
I get all of that, but I think a lot of times this is the where I kind of differ on that. If women could choose between one or the other, they're going to choose the attention from men because that brings the money in. Attention from women is a bonus, and I will give you that. That does not have tangible benefits. Here's the thing. If women start I hate to say this, but take like an Aisha Curry when black women are getting mad at her. I mean, this is an extreme example, but if a man is taking care of a woman, that attention, that may be missed, but that doesn't have
Edward, I have 2 grown daughters, right? And I can tell you the fight for likes and hearts and all that bullshit that I don't know anything about, it's a mad scramble for that shit. Believe me. They talk about that all the time.
Again.
The likes for this. And even like this whole.
So you saying your daughters are die for that shit? Is that what you saying?
I mean,
not your daughters, but you get what I'm saying.
Not my daughters, but I mean, other lesser raised women, sure. I mean, and here's the thing: you have this influencer phenomenon where the number of likes and the rate of attention does have an economic impact on these women. So it's not just about directly what they get from men, but just the sheer number and the volume of attention they get also has an economic impact.
I'm not.
To add to your point, hold on, Edward, because I just want to add to his point because this guy Nocracy acts as a hive mind. And it's like a club for black women that black men can't get in. And if you do get in, you're coming in as a worker bee. They're going to run you through the child support court and divorce court and railroad you through. And so this is what I'm saying, like these butt implants and breast implants and weave and contoured makeup, they ain't doing none of that shit for black men. And Edward, you are on point by saying that they do that so they can manipulate black men. But at the end of the day, that's not for black men. And so, and I think that's what Black Lulu is saying, is that all this is like, what they do for black men is basically, you can, this is their mindset. You can have my baby, and I'm gonna run you for your whole life, and I don't care how.
And it's gonna be for the entertainment of me and all my girlfriends.
Right.
Okay. Like, the thing about it though is it's being kind of too simplified, and this is an important distinction. When you look at these chicks that are crying about what folks are not doing, that is not because, oh, I'm upset. Like that video that black woman did that BGS covered. Like, even though she was making comparisons or contrasts to what her girl is getting, that shit is not biological at the end of the goddamn day. That's why you don't see that reflected as much in other women.
What do you mean
like
by
this idea of attention? I'm telling you right now, if women could only pick one, they couldn't have both. Only one, because that's some social media phenomenal stuff that's amplified it to that level. They are not going to pick the female attention. And this is why when you see when you hold on, I'm gonna say this and then I'll fall back. When you see what these women, these Z's are complaining about, it ain't like that is some bonus shit, but that is not required. The attention that women get when they talk about trauma, when they don't get attention, like when Oprah said it is traumatic to deny attention to a female, when they are talking about this attention and pretty privilege, that is not them, their inability to flex on another chick. That is not required. And you all are kind of making it sound like they're both are equally yoked. You may see one amplify more than others because of this social media shit. So these women are on this feminist stuff, but for the most part, that is a bonus. That's like saying, well, I need to drive, but I need like a Benz versus you need wheels. At
Edward,
the end
let me extend your combo. Let me extend your combo, because I think I see where you're coming from. I see where he's coming from. Look at it like this. Female attention becomes a proxy for male attention because of the implications getting the female attention means. In other words, if there is an attractive woman there who can co-sign another woman who may not be as attractive, she is going to value the attention from that attractive woman because of the attention that attractive woman can get from other men.
Intrasexual competition.
Likewise, when you look at individuals who get bullied within female social circles, women who are too attractive will actually get attacked for that very reason, because it disrupts the balance of attention from men. So this is a matter of follow through, and to a degree, semantics, verbally, I should say. We need to understand that the value of a woman's attention is predicated on her value on getting attention from other men. And that's essentially what Edward's trying to demonstrate is the common denominator between a lot of this.
That's very true. That's very true. Hold on for a second, Mahogany. When we were in high school, all the ugly girls bullied the pretty girls. Pretty much that's it. Yeah, that's 1 + 1. That's true. My bad, Mahogany. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
I just want to declare
listen up. Okay, I've been trying to call this super chat out for like 15 minutes. like Jesus. Like, Gil Gami, thank you. Good topic and panel. Now, there's a lot being said about, females and how females move and operate. And we got a woman up here, Mahogany Roots and MJ. Let her speak and let her get it out, and then whatever after that. So, what's going on, Mahogany?
Hey, thank you. Thank you all for letting me up on the panel. I took some notes as the guys were talking. So the initial reason I came up here, because you guys were talking about the whole natural hair. You were talking about why don't more Black women wear the natural hair, and I feel like I can speak to that because it's been a journey. I feel like it's not as easy as people might think, especially depending on your career. I've talked about this a million times. Depending on lots of different things, maybe your work or just where you are as a woman, because you do have to have a certain level of, how should I put it? Almost a retraining of thought. Like, I'll give you an example. When I first got my locks, I cut off I had decent length hair, but I cut it all off one day. And my hair was literally 1/4 of an inch long. And my grandmother said, "What the hell did you do? You know, like, why would you do that to yourself?" They didn't understand the journey. And then another experience that I had is when I was in the military, I caught hell for it. They rather me wear a wig with somebody else's hair than my own hair. So that's just one reason. And then I want to go through some of the things that the men were talking about on the panel, and then I'll be quiet.
Hey,
I just,
Mahogany, I have a question about the military. Did they not like your hair because of the length, or was it just the style with the locks, or was it both?
for me, it was just what it was. When I first went in, so now things have changed, and now, especially in the Army, now it's accepted. But when I went in back in 2003, it was not accepted, and there was a lot of stereotypes that went with it, that it was dirty, that we didn't wash our hair, just a bunch of negative lies. And so I was combating that. But the main thing that they used to try to stop me was that they said that my headgear wouldn't fit properly. And then after a while, when my hair did start to get a little longer, it was hard to keep. Well, I had to get a larger helmet because I had my hair like corn rolled, and it caused my Kevlar to be kind of high, and just stupid stuff, but it was workable. I want to hit on some of the things you men talked about. So somebody said, and I'll be quick, you guys, and then I'll listen. Somebody said black men don't build anything. So I've heard that too. I don't agree with that. But I think, I don't know who the person was that said it, but I think what they're trying to say is they want to see more black men starting businesses. So the women that I've heard say that, they're talking about black men starting businesses so that they don't have to work for the white man. That's what I believe they're talking about. Another point was black women, like, what do black women build? Well, somebody was talking about the pyramids. I got my. Can I please say how I really feel? Well, the whole
Let
thing
it out.
about. Well, I'm just saying, obviously they were probably built by slaves, and what the thing with slavery is, like, even though the men were doing the physical work, I'm sure everybody took a part in building that. But I mean, anyway, the next bullet point, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm a nerd. The next bullet point was, black women are saying that black men are holding them to a European beauty standard. I don't think it's that. I think that, well, maybe they're saying that. I don't know what they're saying. I know what I say. I think that it's definitely something in society when you look at commercials. And somebody was talking about the music videos. You see white women with the big booties are light-skinned, damn near white women with the big booties, but they still have the European features, that maybe the certain long length hair, the blue eyes, or the European nose and thin lips. They still have certain features that a dark-skinned woman won't ever be able to achieve. And to be honest, I don't think she should want to achieve that, but that's a whole nother story, because I think we're the standard. But that's what they're talking about. Really, with women, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. With women, a lot of the young girls, it's about competition, and it's about, what do they think they need to look like to move up in this society. That's really what it's about. What's appealing to society. Can I say one last thing, one last bullet?
Sure.
Fake, it was, and you guys can tear it apart. Fake, what was it? Fake black women? Oh, you were talking about the plastic surgery. Once again, yeah, it's just competition and what they think is going to get them ahead. Go ahead.
So
Okay.
I wanted
Hold
to
on
add.
for a second, Edward. Hold on for a second, because we got a real situation. Myself and Mahogany, I said Mahogany. Myself and Gyogami are up here, and we're the only African brothers. So I got to clear this, because it becomes a very poisonous thing. Mahogany, those pyramids in Africa, those weren't built by slaves. If you go into Sudan,
Not
the
a single
brothers
one.
yeah, the brothers and sisters there, they are blacker than Wesley Snipes. They're not built. We didn't build them because some Arabs came along and put us to work. We built them because a lot of people actually don't know those pyramids are built for black women. The men built the pyramids to basically honor black women in Africa. I just wanted to get that out there.
No,
So,
I'm glad. I love learn.
so
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so that's great. Just to add in the other thing we're talking about with the competition thing, you know, the way that I see this is I see it like everybody talks about sex, but sex is not required to live, you know, but it's definitely important, like food, water, shelter, you know, but it's not like required like food, water, shelter. You know what I'm saying? But in a first world situation, obviously it's going to be talked about because we have the food, water, shelter stuff already taken care of. And that's kind of like the social media environment, you know, so it gets talked about. So that's kind of where it is. So I'm not trying to say, okay, it's not on the radar at all. But the reality is, if it's a matter of security, you're going to be broke, but you're going to look good for your girls, but there's real money on the table. Folks are gonna go where the real money is. That's part of the competition as well. A lot of that other stuff, that flex stuff, is just bonus shit. You know, it really is. And this is why when you look at colorism, featureism, and all these isms, that stuff is not reflected in what women are doing to other women. That stuff is reflected in what it's supposed we are doing to them. And as far as the music videos, and I'm not saying this because you brought it up, because it's something that's always brought up. The reality of the situation is the fact that black women are so deep in it. Black women as a demographic look at TV more than any other demographic. They're supposed to be the most educated, but they're involved in TV more than any other demographic, reality more than any other demographic, music more than any other demographic. As far as percentage wise, they're on social media more than any other demographic. So they're being their mindset is being shaped more than other demographics by this stuff. This is not to say black men are not shaped by music as well. Black men are shooting each other all the time over this dumb shit. So this is not taking them off the hook. But the point is that when it's not a good look, like when people say, well, we're the most educated group, but then you say, okay, where are you getting all this stuff from? It's not reflected necessarily in what you see on the ground. It's reflecting in what you see on TV. And by the way, all these niggas that showcase these women, they baby mamas usually are black. And a lot of them, like NBA YoungBoy, ain't got nothing but like black women, like black women. You know, even a lot of these NBA players, people will look at these NBA players and be like 70% of them are with non-black women. That's actually true. The opposite is actually true. So a lot of it is, even if these black women put like dark skin, or black dudes put dark skinned women in their videos, y'all are looking for the white person or the light skinned person. Y'all will jump over 10 dark skinned women and point to the one light skinned person and say that is what that is.
Thank you.
And that's because that's a confirmation bias, and I get why it is what it is. But again, you know, I think that completely gets overblown. And then for folks but as far as I'm concerned, as far as that like body stuff, it really doesn't matter why they do it. At the end of the day, because men do not like that shit, not to the level that what women try to act like they do. It's to the point where that stuff needs to be spoken like anorexia and bulimia. The only reason why they don't speak to it like that is because it's political and women would get mad. But to be honest with you, it's literally it's pretty much like anorexia and bulimia.
We need to be honest about television in general. We don't run those networks, and even when they do, they run on algorithms of marketing. And these individuals get a very limited budget. There's a very specific demographic they're marketing to, and they look on patterns of buying behavior. If it didn't sell, they wouldn't put it out.
Yeah, they're dropping sell ads.
And when you look at who the majority consumers are for most of those videos, it's not even our demographic. Like on a numerical level, we're statistically relevant, but we're not the statistic majority. And to really emphasize the point Edward was making about the way we consume a lot of this content, we consume it in a way where we derive a lot of our identity from it through proxy. And because of what we know about social network groups in general, and the way people form an identity off of the images they see, that repetition forms an inaccurate reflection of the reality they live in, but they bring it into reality because they operate on those presuppositions. So the truth is, most black men really aren't checking for that.
Go ahead and finish.
Yeah, so this artificial image that was brought up earlier, we really
don't
Nameless,
want when you say they're not checking for that, what do you mean exactly?
So what I mean is, if you speak to the average black man in general, the expectation of beauty standard most of us would be okay with is a Black woman simply taking what she already has to a disciplined level of maintenance. Meaning, if she kept what she had, did go to the gym, made sure she was observing the calories she put in so she didn't get into the overweight classification, and put some effort in how she looked and used her natural hair, most of us overwhelmingly would not have a problem with that. And a lot of the women who do complain, if they did those three things, would find their problems almost disappear.
And
I
they
almost mean
never
that
have those
exclusively.
things sold up too. That's another thing.
And I mean that almost exclusively for Black women. And I say that because a lot of other groups of women go to the gym to get what Black women literally come out the box with. And you see this in the gyms everywhere, but it's not, you don't see it emphasized. And, you know, maybe that can be a conversation as to why that happens, but that's just a pattern I see across the board, and I see it happening on the continent as well.
There is a lawsuit that Tasha K has against Cardi B. Well, now it's dropped. Right. And there's an important point. I was looking at this page called Hollywood Unlocked Instagram, very big page. It's up there with like, you know, World Star and stuff like that as far as Instagram pages. I scrolled down the comments for literally like 10 minutes while I was doing something at my desk, waiting for something. And I went to all of the obviously Black woman comments where you see the avatar and everything. I didn't find one that supported Tasha K. They all were really for Cardi B fucking drilling Tasha K. And the thing about it is, you see that with Beyonce and Kelly. If you ask Black men who looks better, most Black men will say Kelly. If you ask Black women who looks better, most of them will say Beyonce. The colorism stuff is passed down through Black women to other Black women. And a lot of the Black men that are colorists, chances are their mother was colorist.
Let's talk about
it's passed
Beyonce
down through the
real quick.
matrilineal line, and Black women are not honest about that, and that's why you all suffer from it. And remember, I'm the one that's against it. Women do stuff. I ain't saying y'all saying exclusive, but y'all tend to lean more. Women do it for competition for themselves reasons. Okay,
that's very true.
So
very true.
so let's say I go completely with that, and then I give you all that, right? Then if that's true, then that would also mean why all of a sudden is quote unquote colorism. That why is it that Black men are emphasizing colorism if they don't care like that? The truth is they care about colorism because if they are competing with each other, this goes back to what Nameless was talking about as far as buying patterns and behaviors and who Black women support, then that's what bothers them because they talk about things like pretty privilege. This is where all these channels of YouTubers I'm not going to name, where they're always going after other YouTubers that are light skinned or all of that. That's them. So that's something that you all do independent of us. And it's getting to the point where Black women are actually starting to bleach their skin more in America. That's creeping in. Black women think we don't fucking see that. But like the celebrities have already been doing it and people just don't talk about it. But I'm starting to see a lot of that get down, and a lot of this body dysmorphia, all this titties and ass and body weight transfers, that's a gateway drug to bleaching's coming in a much bigger way. It's already
Edward, you were talking about Beyonce, and you roll that back to the Super Bowl. That was one of the more striking images I've ever seen. You got, Beyonce's a beautiful woman, but she's got this bright blonde weave with a bunch of dark chocolate Black Panthers, wearing Black Panther berets on their head. If that wasn't an obvious representation of colorism, and you didn't hear Black women say a peep about that. Did anybody do a video about any of that? Because you look at that, and that just right there, it encapsulates really how Black women feel about themselves. They talk about, like, in the Asian community, they talk about it themselves very openly. They call it white worship, where Asians worship white people. So they get the blonde hair, they get their eyelids done, they want to go become a part of white groups, date white people, and they have what they call white worship. And in the Black community, Black women don't necessarily have the same type of white worship in totality, but when it comes to beauty standards, you can see it, man. Like you're saying, Edward, you can see the skin bleaching coming. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah,
And as a
it's
matter of fact,
already
you start to
here.
see it with
You can
with not Stacey Dash, but the other one. There's a couple of them. Kim, that rapper Lil Kim, and then the
Lil'
other
Kim.
chick who was
No,
on that
no,
TV
I
show.
mean, I'm
Little
not
Kim
even
looks
talking
crazy
about.
at this point.
I'm not even talking about celebrity, like real talk. I'm talking about on the ground too. It's been here. It's just people don't talk about it. And somebody in the chat said that, you know, black men say colors don't exist. We say that in order to annoy black women, but the truth is, what black men mean when they say that is colorism is irrelevant. Colorism is a you problem. It's not our problem, and quite frankly, black women perpetuate it. That's not something black men can't fix colorism for you all. Like we can't.
If you notice it, my bad.
Hold on, Jay. I want to say
Go
this
ahead,
because I
Edward.
want you to jump in this as an African. I don't know, because I know all Africans don't have the bleaching issue. I know Nigerians have it like one of the worst, so I'm not blanketing all of Africa. But what I will say that all Africa has in common is y'all all around black people to the point where y'all don't even call it black like we do, right? So you still see in certain countries, Nigeria is like one of the most prevalent, which it is just as black, ain't like a whole bunch of non-blacks there, right? They are one of the most prevalent with bleaching. So my point is, even if women say, well, we're in a mixed environment and that's what pretty much does that, that's actually BS, because you can show in environments where that's not the case, where you still see women doing it. Make that make sense. Go ahead.
They're doing that in all of these instances.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, because I guess he was talking about.
It's all right. It's all right, Davis. The reason why I said that, I'm gonna say it real quick. The reason why it is prevalent to see that the colorist situation is more black women than it is black men is, pay attention to how Kevin started, his routine. Notice when Kevin is talking to black women, he said, around here, Kelly Rowland is a 9 and Beyonce is an 8. You ever notice how confused black women are when he says that?
Some women get offended by that shit.
They get offended. They get offended that Kevin actually puts the darkest skinned woman over Beyonce.
So
What do you mean they get offended? How do you get offended by that? What's that look like?
They get it. Well,
Look at the
situation.
Truth. Look at the reaction. Go back and look at some of these reactions from black women.
They turn up their noses.
They get really upset knowing that Kevin said that the darkest skinned sister is more beautiful than Beyonce, and they get upset by that. So who's the colorist then?
The way they frame it like they try to frame it like he's lying. That's how they like he's just saying that. But if you look at Kelly Rowland is not famous. Black men don't drive music, whether it's male or female. Let's make that clear. When you look, we don't, like, as a demographic. When you look at the songs that Kelly had a hit, there were mega hits. Kisses Down Low, the one with the song with Nelly. You know, these things were mega hits because black men really liked the look that Kelly Rowland had, particularly the one with Nelly. I mean, honestly, that was literally Nelly's kind of, that was like, if you want to look at what promoting a black woman and giving black women attention looks like in a music video, I would argue that's like the standard. From like a dark-skinned woman, and black men really push that hard. They like the song, and black men don't even like Nelly like that. So, like, to be honest, and I like Nelly, but a lot of black men didn't. So it was the Kelly part, how she looked, all of that, and the reality of even like Nelly was even saying, "I'd be the side dude, just let me on." Anyway, point blank, period. Kelly Rowland got big overseas. And a lot of that, she has everything going for her. But the truth is, black women don't rock with her like that. You know, another person black women don't rock with? Remy Ma.
Yes, very true.
And Remy Ma, black men support her more than black women as far as her demographic. So that's probably why she didn't go feminist on black men, because she probably realized she would really F up her money. But so again, the colorism stuff probably is seated in the competition that like Black Who and y'all were talking about. That's more in that category. But until you all are honest about that, then that's always gonna rule you all no matter where you go. And honestly, that's a black woman problem. That's not our problem.
So I want to add some context to that too, because I think it's very important to see the overlap here. In both of these locations we just talked about, and Gyogami and Jay can co-sign on this, each of these areas were subject to colonization by individuals who were palm colored, correct?
Okay, yeah.
Once again,
Nigeria with the British, yeah.
Okay, and there was a very strict dynamic that was put in place where, unlike the Portuguese and the Spanish, they decided that they were not going to mix intentionally to control the power structure.
Yep.
So
even the
what you-
French weren't that bad with it as the British. Go ahead.
Exactly. So there is a sharp divide with regards to power. So you get a dual power system in these colonized areas where one is predicated on one, your title, and two, your skin tone classification, essentially. If you are lighter, you have a higher opportunity to get those resources because you become more palatable. This is something that is observed not just on the continent, but especially in the Caribbean. But here in the United States, when you look at what went down on the plantation, you already know the more of those lighter characteristics you had as a woman, the better your experience and the less likely you were to experience a lot of negative things when it comes out to going out into the regular society at large, especially if you were in any area that wasn't predominantly ran by the British, such as any area that was in the Louisiana Territory. There was a whole subclass of women who enjoyed not only power, but enjoyed separate lives with men that were still over there in Europe. These dudes would have separate families and they would run whole aspects of society. It's how you get the whole legend of Marie Laveau. If you want more illustrations of that, go take a look at that movie, Eve's Bayou.
Right.
The whole entire Creole identity was predicated on that with the women.
Which
at the
Beyonce
epicenter.
embodies. Go ahead.
And that's exactly what she actually is, Edward. She is a Creole.
Yeah.
She tells you that.
Look at
where
how
this
her
comes
mama
from.
acts.
Exactly. There is a whole power dynamic that is built into the fabric of this country that's
Right.
predicated on that dynamic. And men did not have a role in that. Not when it came down to disseminating the authority behind that dynamic. And we need to understand this is a big equation as to why color means so much to those women, because it was literally a survival mechanism.
Yeah, we understand
I would
colorism
like
prior.
to-
Well, one
I would
thing
like to
too,
add-
if you were going to boil this down in psychology, the term for this, like you guys are saying, this is a woman's problem. Colorism is
Yeah.
a woman's issue. This is on them. In
Mhm.
psychology, they call it reaction formation. That's just like one of these guys. You remember that senator or something from or congressman from Minnesota, and he's I hate LGBTQ
Talking
and,
about Alf.
and
No,
gays.
not
I can't stand them. And then they catch him in the Minnesota airport, kicking under the stall, trying
Under
to.
the stall.
That was Idaho.
Well,
I-
maybe it happened there too. There was one in Minnesota.
That was one that I remember because you're talking about the bald-headed dude. That was one of those. It wasn't Minnesota. It doesn't
No,
matter.
there was
but I
one
get
in
what
Minnesota.
you're
I
talking
remember.
about.
Well, maybe he was from Idaho, but it happened in
You're right. It
Minnesota. Maybe
doesn't
that's what
matter.
it was.
We know.
And he,
My
so he's
bad.
kicking this dude under the stall because he's trying to have gay sex. I guess that's like kind of something they do in those airports. And so you see this all the time where the guy says, I'm so Christian and I'm for God, but then you got a secret life. He's got this double life. That's called reaction formation. So you see this within the gynocracy, within black women, where they go, black men, you're colorist. You're colorist. That's where I'm wearing this blonde weave. That's why I'm wearing this makeup to make my nose look thinner and my skin look paler. You guys are colorists. That's why I'm doing this. And it's just this, and it's just this gaslighting. It's just like with the European beauty standards and and if you build it, it's like gaslight. You're trying to gaslight the shit out of black
And
men.
by the way, Truth, they don't like Bria Miles. I mean, not Bria Miles. They don't like a Marilyn Egger either. They got real mad. A Marilyn Egger had the audacity to decide because she was attractive where she was. I mean, she was pretty much, because she looked less than Bria Miles, and dudes are attracted to Bria Miles. She had the audacity to say, you know what, I want to lose 35 pounds. And she lost 35 pounds. And she was actually talking about women were actually like they were constantly coming at her because she decided to do that on her own because that's what she wanted to do. And black
were they
women,
saying she's why were they coming after her?
they were coming at her under body positivity grounds, basically. And it's the thing about it is, and even Bria Miles has actually lost weight. She still has her behind,
But
she-
Amaris is problematic.
Let's have Roger jump in a second. Though, 'cause he's
well,
been
why
waiting
is
for a while.
Amara is problematic?
Because she preaches a lot about colorism in Latin America and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yet she comes here to the States and she's laying up with what's his name? Oh God, the guy whose son the
Are you
father used
talking
to put on
about
Family
non-black
Ties.
men?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't like everybody always say. I'm gonna tell you something that I'm not gonna deny. I'm not gonna deny none of that. I will say this though: when I go on Marilyn Negro's page, it's probably one of the blackest pages as far as seeing black men and stuff like that. My point is, I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't care about who black. Like people, y'all think I'm playing when I say that I don't care if these black women are having sex with non-black men. I don't care. Because we know we have greater access to it anyway. So if a black woman isn't talking ish under her mouth about black men, you know, quite frankly, I don't care. I really don't, because dudes give Bria Miles a pass too, because they tend to like her more. So I don't. I know I hear what you're saying. And I'm not saying you can't have that opinion, because different dudes are gonna have that different way, and I respect that. But what I'm saying is, for me, my thing is. Are you even with the Maria Taylor situation? I still don't think she should get Stephen A money. But at the same time, you know, I'm like, okay, she's married to a black dude, you know, all this stuff. Okay, fine, I'll give her some rope. But as long as they not talking ish about black men or taking their relationship and blaming black men.
You okay? Everybody all right?
Yeah. Now, yeah,
a little something going on.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's degrees to that, because if they're like showing it like complete, like they're trying to promote it, kind of like Boyd Watkins trying to promote his marriage, that may be a little bit different. But I don't think what she's done is kind of rise to the level of doing all of that.
I understand.
But I get that. I mean, people are gonna feel that way, and I understand that. But as long as they ain't talking ish, you know, I tend to, you know, it is what it is. Because you know she's still having sex with black dudes too. Yeah. But anyway, I'm done. I appreciate y'all letting me on. This has been
I'm getting off too.
All right, fellas. Dan, thanks for coming up as always. But Roger, what's going on?
Not much. I'm just trying to make sure. Did I hear y'all say something about black women worship white people less than Asians? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Less than Asians.
Unbelievable.
Asians love
how?
Well, Asian people change their eyes to look more European. They tell themselves they have white worship. They tell themselves they have white worship. They have generations of Asian families saying you need to go get a white man. We're about first generation, I think, in the black community. White worship is a little stronger in the Asian community.
Well, we do get black women telling their daughters to go get a white man. We've been had that. We've been having that since the plantations. Now, black women don't have the money to go get their eyes changed, and they don't really have a need to go get their ass changed. But now that these Brazilian butt lifts made themselves available, ain't they doing what they got to do to get those?
Yeah, they're getting them butt lifts. I see that. From fix a flat to taking a flight.
I mean, white women really white people. White people are gods to black women. I don't know if the Asian people look at them as gods, but black women look at them as gods. That's why, you know, when they talk, everything's about what a white woman gonna do or what a white man gonna do. They can't really go through a conversation without referencing something about what white people gonna do. And if white people did it, it makes it okay. Their moral standard is what white people do. That's why they say to black men all the time, you know what I'm saying? Well, white women do it too. They're literally telling you that's my moral compass.
Well, you're making some good points. So maybe one of the differences is that black women have more of a love-hate relationship. Like they hate white people, but they love white people. Asian people just more. So black women actually have an obsession damn near with white people, in the fact that, you know, with the beauty standards, with, you know, the police, look what you're doing to us. Well, white supremacy, but save us at the same time. Save us from our own men. In that way, they look to white people to save themselves almost from themselves and from black women. At least in the Asian community, it's more like maybe we want to look more like Asians or like white folks, or we want to marry white people, but it's not like this necessarily the savior complex in that same one.
So I mean, yeah. So that to me that sounds like black women worship them a little bit more than Asian folks do, because yes, they do want white men to be their messiah. They do want that. All of them want their personal messiah to be a white man. They would love it if Jesus was white himself.
You know what the difference is, Roger? You know what the difference is, Roger? The difference is Asian women can actually get white dudes.
Ouch.
Well, I mean, I can't deny that, but but I don't think I mean, that being the case, I just can't see how black women don't worship them more than anybody else with all the stuff I see them doing. And like I say, even in these conversations with no white person even in the spectrum, they're gonna bring him into it. They're gonna bring her into it. You can't even have a conversation with black women nowadays without them bringing up white folks. When is the last time? I mean, I haven't been listening all night. I'm pretty sure. I mean, Mahogany was on the panel. I ain't gonna say nothing about her personally. I'm just assuming white people got brought up just because I saw her here. I don't see a panel with women on it that they can actually have a conversation without bringing up white folks. And when it comes to, I mean, I heard y'all talking about hair and things like that. Black women wear natural hair for white men. Is that not saying that's their God? Because for them, it's a treat.
We had that conversation though when we talked about how, the culture only identifies two gods, and that's the divine feminine and Jesus. So I mean, it's no surprise we see this playing out.
Well, I would say too, one of the differences is that Asian women will actually do what it takes to get a white man. Black women won't do what it takes. Generally, they just won't do what it takes. I mean, I think they want a white man, but if you really want something, it seems like you would really want to go after it. I think that's like the gynocracy. They don't really like men like that. They're almost like their own gender. It's like you got white men and Asian men and white women and Asian women, and then we're all kind of normal, so to speak. And then black women are damn near their own demographic, where it's like they're becoming more masculine and kind of looking more white with the weave, but then they got the black body, and then now they got this trans look with the makeup. It's like what's going on here? Your own families, your own family structure now, trying to lead LGBTQ. I'm like, well, what's going on here, man? It's just strange times right now, man. We're like in this cultural revolution. It's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where everything's at, but we definitely sense like things are no longer what they used to be.
But do Asian women sacrifice their sons to white men?
No.
Well, black women do. Which one's bigger?
Well, to be fair, the society does not require Asian women to sacrifice their sons to white people. To be fair,
y'all
I mean, that's a province specifically relegated to black men.
Pretty much. That's why I call it the brand of sacrifice. If you've got a Y chromosome in the black community, that if anybody that watches the Berserk anime, you put that X and Y, superimpose them on top of each other, and it looks just like the brand of sacrifice.
White guys are in no way intimidated by Asian men.
Nope.
Not in the least bit. They are definitely intimidated physically, viscerally, by black men.
You know what they do?
I mean, we're always gonna, as long as our dicks are generally bigger, we're more muscular. We're always gonna be a evolutionary threat to them.
That's why they compare Asian men to black women.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I'm serious.
Yes, that's why they are at comparable. That's why they are at a comparable mating level. Yeah.
What's her name from who's that television show?
The
black woman. To your point, Nameless, that black woman who had that show that on HBO.
She actually
was that Insecure?
Yeah, Insecure. The
Lisa, what's her name? Lisa Ray or wasn't it Issa Rae?
Issa Rae. Yeah. She compared black women to Asian women. She sure did.
Well, she was recommending that black women get with Asian dudes because of their equivalent low mating status.
You should have seen the TikTok responses from that crap. That was hilarious.
What were they saying?
It was like, nah, we good.
And the Asian guys won't know. The Asian guys won't know part of that shit.
I was dying.
The
Like,
Asian
nah,
guys
we don't
won't
want that.
know
Y'all
part
can
of
have 'em.
that. The
But
Asian
this
guys
is
say,
the
fuck
thing,
it.
like,
The Asian guys say, fuck it, we'll just be permanent incel.
but look, but black women can get an Asian man. Black women can get a white man. As a matter of fact, we could end colorism in 1 year from now. Hey, black women, to all the black women that are listening, if you want to end colorism, I know how you can move right on up the sexual marketplace hierarchy. All you have to do, and what's her name, Mahogany, who was on here, kind of spoke to this, is grow out your dreadlocks, your sister locks, grow your hair long and natural, get it into locks, and now no other woman can compete with your hairstyle. You just created your own lane. You created your own in-group. Now you got the bodies, get in shape over the next year, grow your hair out, and nobody can complain. But what was so fascinating to hear Mahogany speak is she goes, oh man, you guys don't understand. When you grow out your hair, it's like this whole psychological thing. It's so hard to do. It really makes you think about yourself. And it's like, yeah, exactly, because you're having an internal conflict. That's that reaction formation. Black women have a lot of self-hate. They don't like their own beauty. And they don't like their own men. So then they make themselves uglier and fatter and wear these crazy haircuts and put Fix-A-Flat in their butts and do all this wild shit. All the while, then they push their men away and, create broken homes, literally create food for the criminal justice system. So our boys can be hauled into the penitentiary. And then they go to the white man and go, come save us, white man. Come save us from this damage that we're doing. I mean, you can't save yourself from your own womb. You just have to make better decisions. If you want to end this fucking colorism stuff, literally just grow your hair out, plain and simple.
If you want black women to grow their hair out, it's a simple way to do it. Okay, and unfortunately you can't get it done, but there is a simple way to do it. Just got to get a white man to tell them to do it. If he tell them, they're gonna do it. But unless you can get a white man to tell them to do it, they ain't gonna do it because they're not gonna do anything that they believe is offensive to that white man. Period.
Well, Roger, what if we get white women to wear an afro, and we get white women? What if we got 75% of white women to wear afros and dreadlocks? Would that work?
That ain't gonna mean nothing. That white man got to say, "I want to see you in dreads." If that white man say, "I want to see you in dreads," she'll instantly grow her hair out.
And Roger, you've probably seen the same thing. Like if you look at a lot of instances where black women end up being with white men, they're almost always fit, wearing their natural hair, having a pleasant attitude. It's absolutely insane and mind-boggling. I see it here in Texas. I saw it when I was back in the DMV area. You see it in Cali. You see it in Florida. Only place I haven't really been out like that has been the Midwest, but everywhere I look and turn and I see them together like that, you almost think they were coming from the Hotep sphere. Until they start talking with that same Valley Girl accent, you instantly know what's up. Another demographic you see this happening is the gamer chicks, the nerd gamer chicks. Same scenario that's going on with that. A lot of times when they're with these white dudes, they're following the formula we're laying out for them, really emphasizing some of the points that were brought up earlier about they find other groups of men that they're willing to submit to. They'll follow those instructions, but everybody else, it's just, you don't see that. Like, case in point, go take a look at, and I don't want to turn this political, but I'm only using this as a passive illustration to enforce the point. Take a look at a lot of women that are on the conservative side and a lot of women that are on the liberal side. And you'll begin to see how a lot of these standards end up playing out. There are a lot of Republican females you can think of that are black and are not looking like Lizzo. But there's quite a few you could think of on the left that do embody that ideology. And if they don't have the look, they have the attitude.
That's facts.
This is coming down to a culture dynamic.
I've said before that anything that's basically the general concepts being taught out of the sphere, black women will do it for a white man. You know what I'm saying? They won't listen to us for us. but they will listen to us for any other man. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If he white, attitude gone. If he white, she'll lose the weight. If he white, she'll pay off her own debts. If he white, she don't want no kids out of wedlock. You know, not from a black man, that is. You know, not anything previous before they get together. She'll have his kids out of wedlock, but she ain't gonna bring no kids to him out of wedlock. So, you know, the black manosphere is the way. They just not gonna use it for us.
Truth, did you see the podcast I did with Dr. Anwar the other day about epigenetics?
I haven't finished it. I listened to about the first 40 minutes. I haven't had time to finish it.
Yeah, we get pretty good. We end up having an open panel, and we kind of discussed some of the things we were talking about the other day on the Roger Report. So I think you'll see or see some of the context that I bring up epigenetics and why I think that's likely playing a greater role in a lot of the macro vision that we see going on with these behavioral patterns, and how, you know, again, women have the greatest opportunity to pass a lot of these things down just because of the way, one, the X chromosome even works, and two, the potential to pass these things down while the child is in the placenta. You know, it's crazy how these things can follow you literally for generations. And when you're in an environment that is ripe to proliferate a lot of these predispositions, we'll call them, you know, people will recreate what it is they have from where they came from. And I keep seeing this plantation dynamic play itself out on autopilot over and over and over. And it happens so much that if you can almost use it as a hard rule, you know, it enters the realm of theory at that point. And you can make things happen with the theory. And I try to keep my mind open for other factors, but I see this overwhelmingly being carried out by women. And what we learn about epigenetics is women have the greatest probability of passing down epigenetic changes. And even when you get into the science of that, the Y chromosome just doesn't have the same kind of capacity. And if it did, it would have to happen. Yeah, it would have to happen to the sex cells in order for that to really get passed on. And men constantly produce new sex cells, whereas women are born with the amount of eggs they will ever have for the rest of their life.
I'm going to check that out.
Template. It will blow your mind, and it'll give you a very solid premise to sit down and really reevaluate a lot of the things you already understand. And I think it'll give you a greater measure of clarity, especially since you're very familiar with the psychological aspects of it, because that's the primary field most of this is being looked at now as far as the social sciences goes, because they're learning how to identify and treat psychological issues epigenetically. Which is good news, really. It's good news because it means it's correctable. But go ahead, fam.
Well, yeah, that's really fast. That's really fascinating, and I'm definitely going to follow up on that. You know, if you're listening right now in the clouds, make sure you go over to Dr. Dunbar's channel, Big Discussions, and watch that on epigenetics. And make sure you subscribe to the Nameless Protagonist, and make sure you watch. It's a classic. That's a Manosphere classic. How We Got Here. Make sure you watch that video. It's an excellent video. I've actually told people to go watch that video. So I mean, the way you put that together is so concise, and it's short form, but it's really good. Now to go along with epigenetics, I mean, it's similar because you're talking about being in the womb, like in vitro or whatever the term for it is. Did you ever watch that lecture series by Dr. Sapolsky about human behavioral psychology? I'll put that in the chat for you. Make sure you watch it. I think you're going to like that. It's kind of dry. You know, I've recommended it to people. They go, man, this is so dry. But he's got a PhD, certified genius by Mensa or whatever. And that's all great. But just the fruitfulness of this lecture series, man, is pretty amazing. Some of the ideas and the concepts that he comes up with. And I think, and it really sounds like it has everything to do with what you're saying about epigenetics. So I'll give you a link to that too, if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I may have. So when I see it, I'll probably recognize it. But definitely drop it in the chat. If you don't have a link in the chat, then I'll get it from the back chat.
You know, Nameless, as I was listening to you and and Dr. Dunbar discuss epigenetics, I had a growing foreboding sense of doom overcome me.
At which point? Because we went to a lot of tangents.
What was so apparent to me was, and you touched on it earlier, of just how so much dependent everything is on the women. And because of our utter lack of control over them, or what it would take for us to wrestle control over them, it would require very tumultuous acts. It would not be a bloodless endeavor.
Mm.
You know, I mean, we can talk, you know, I mean, like I said, you guys did a wonderful job explaining how things work. And like I said, because you had done such a wonderful job, I was thinking through the sociological dynamics of what it would take to implement any sort of programming that would maximize the benefit of what you were describing. And all the fingers kept getting pointed back to these bitches. And and it was like, what it would take to really get control and get things in order, that would be strifeful, right? I mean, we can't even really get like sort of basic courtesy from the vast majority of these women. And what you guys were talking about would require a radical reformation of family structure, of environmental influences, at the very core, at the very beginning, or even pre-beginning of life itself. And I was visualizing how that world would look, and I'm like, we can't do that.
Not in one generation we can't, but that's important, because but how fair would that be to have that conversation and not be honest about the condition of the combat theater, but just make it? And just because a few people make it back, you know, how responsible is that to think that we can formulate a strategy, employ tactics, and then maintain, you know, some form of way to win if we don't understand the real situation going on the field, nor do we understand our own current condition? Because you've got to understand the conditions of you, the field, and your opponent. And if you don't understand any of those, you can't get anything done. And unfortunately, we've been operating on old reports that no longer exist. And the conditions on the field are changing so dynamically and rapidly that we've got to have a fundamental restructuring of the way we even interpret the information, let alone get it back so that we can actually make use of the data. And that's a big problem in general we suffer from. Because like we said before, we're trying to recreate, and we say this a little bit later on there, we're trying to recreate, you know, the Reconstruction era. We're trying to recreate the agrarian area where everybody was still on farms for the most part, and the Industrial Revolution didn't have the massive impacts that it did. But we're in a world now where that's not only beyond us, we're going into the fourth industrial revolution, where everything is about to become so digital that the farm is in people's minds. And it's going to require from everybody globally a restructuring of the way they see themselves, their community, and their culture. And it's why I described that civilization historically kept at a reasonable pace with the culture, meaning with the changes that occurred to the civilization, the culture had time to adjust within a reasonable amount of time. But ever since the Industrial Revolution, the timing for that became out of sync, to the point where the dissonance is so great, the two look like they're in isolation of each other, where the civilization is changing so quickly, the culture is just becoming its own new shut off, isolated environment that has no idea what it's doing anymore. And it's just doing what it wants to do, almost irrespective of the culture. And so people are defaulting to much older conditioning, leading our way to the reason why we had to have the conversation about epigenetics, because people will recreate what it is they had from where they came from. And that's what we see happening. People on a cultural level are beginning to actually go backwards, even though the society and the culture, the civilization in general is going light speed ahead. And a lot of the issues we're talking about today are the end result of that. It's just, unfortunately, we are the product of that institution. Some could say, again, artificially selected for, meaning we could be technically the first transhumans, which is profound because that puts us at the spear tip of all of these changes that are occurring. Meaning what's going on with us will likely happen to other groups of people, which is why we have that very popular axiom in the sphere and in the red pill spaces overall about the Black community being the canary in the coal mine. Meaning, they can detect what's going on by observing us first, so that other people has a chance and an opportunity to calibrate their strategy on how to deal with it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're still dealing with a basic situation where, in order to take responsibility for the situation going on here, we absolutely have to have that authority. And that authority is submitted to by the women. And if the women are not willing to submit to the authority, you don't have a society. You don't have a community. And you damn sure don't have a family. You have relatives. And you can't get the same thing done that a culture and community can get done with that. All you can do is look for exceptions to the rule. And that has essentially been what we've had since the 1920s.
All right.
Well, will we be okay if we start letting women starve? Because I swear we keep belling them out.
All right. Hey, listen up. It's been 3.5 hours. So I appreciate your presence, gentlemen, especially with Nameless and all of his input, and making this, leveling any conversation he participates in up. And as you gentlemen as well, for helping me make this an excellent topic to discuss. But it's about that time. So final statements, gentlemen.
I'll go. Thanks for having me on, Kev. I appreciate it. Great show, great topic. Good to see you, Roger, Black Uru, Nameless. I put that lecture series in the back chat. It's a great series, kind of dry. I think you'll like it though. It really talks about the biology and the endocrinology of human behavior. Jay Bones, the guy on me. Shout out to you too, the African brothers. It was great speaking with you. I'm out of here. Later.
All right, truth as I know it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. I didn't have too much more to add to it all. Just again, as far as the body shaming, the European standard idea, again, a lot of this is just coming from the inertia from the plantation. That whole concept of lighter skin gave you privileges and was a survival mechanism. We're not perpetuating that. Most Black men just want Black women to be healthy, be in your own skin, have the appearance of a healthy lifestyle, be the natural you that you are, and we're cool with it. Have an agreeable attitude. Like, this is basic things that human beings didn't have an option to do historically. Now that it's an option, we see problems happening. I mean, this boils back down again to if they want to change that, they will, but because they don't have to, they won't. So we'll see. But on top of all of that, thanks for having me up, Kev, to the chat, to the folks on the panel. I'll see you guys later.
All right. I said thank you once again, Nameless Protagonist. Whoever's next.
I'll go. And I'll say quickly, look, we all come into this world with what we have. Some of it we can build on, improve on. Some of it is just going to be, what God blessed us to have, and we make best do with it. Whether it's skin color or height, or whether you're nearsighted or the assorted things that someone else may interpret as some sort of negative or whatever. In the end, this isn't a dress rehearsal. Chances are in your lifetime you won't change the hearts and minds of everybody around you. So while you're here, you got to do the best you can with what you have. And I'm just not very empathetic at all to these. I saw dark-skinned women with, quote, nappy hair get married, right? I saw short black women, dark-skinned women, light-skinned women, overweight women, skinny women, black women get married. This whole colorism and European, it's all some sort of hyperbolic, hypergamous thing where, like in the video that BGS showed about the pretty girl privilege. Now, if you listen to that girl, she weren't referring to all men. She was referring to the men that she wanted that didn't want her. She said that there were men that approached her that she did not like. Now, all this colorism stuff, all this featureism stuff, all those women, all throughout their lives, have been and are being approached by men through their whole lives. The vast majority of women are liked by some men somewhere. So this isn't about colorism. This isn't about featureism. Isn't about how unfair the world is or whatever. This is about women having an outsized view of entitlement and are using colorism and featureism, all this, to distract from the fact that they want more than what the fuck they deserve in life. And look, we all want more than what we deserve in life. But the difference between men and women is men are made very painfully aware that the world don't give a damn about you wanting more than what you deserve in life. So how about we men return the favor to them women? How about we not give a damn about all these petty, vain, venal women thinking they're more entitled to what they deserve? Fuck them. And I'll end it with that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go behind Black Guru because he made it hard to go behind. But I'm gonna just say, as Chris Brown said, these hoes ain't loyal. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right, J Bones.
Yeah, Kev. Yeah, nothing interesting at all, man. Just thank you for having me on the platform. I found your channel through Roger, so definitely thanks for having me in these spaces. And it's for somebody like myself and Gilgami, we're outside of the culture, so it's more of a learning space for us. But thank you so much for having me, and hopefully we get a chance to talk again.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. You guys are always welcome. This has been a banger of a show for my first Monday show, and told you I'm not doing shows on Fridays anymore. I switched to Mondays, so it'll be Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I got to come with a great topic every Monday to to make sure we keep up the momentum. Because one thing about starting on a new night is you worry about how the algorithm is going to treat you. And I got treated pretty good tonight. So Monday night is definitely a great night to go on. And it is up to me to continue to bring you great shows on any night that we, as the habitual line steppers, will, go on. So anyway, as far as the topic is concerned, I do get tired of the rap that we're given as black men, as far as what we think and believe versus what we're supposed to think and believe. And I will tell you, as a grown ass man, I never liked anyone trying to tell me what my standard should be or what my standard is, especially when they're dead ass wrong. So, black men, you're allowed. And when I say you're allowed to think how you want to think, because the inevitability of it is going to end up being that way anyway. Don't let these people continue to lie about you. And that's all any of us are saying at the end of the day. So just keep it up. Tell these people the truth. Don't soften up for anyone. Stay on their necks, because there are no correct way to say these things at all. Because we deserve it. So anyway, thanks for making this Monday show a great one for everyone that's watching, the chat, the panel. It is just see you guys next Saturday. So like, share, subscribe, and Kev We Trust. See you next week.